feel like there's so much to talk about, and this is like the shortest list we've had.
Yeah. Well, they're bigger pieces too. So
as far as stuff going on,
yeah, it just seems like the list is shorter than normal, but I feel like it's one of our most packed episodes.
Yeah, I think like what Chris said, I think that there's a good amount of depth into them because like the Stand Your Ground, I haven't read it yet. I do want to discuss that.
It's just the same as every other state.
Yeah. So I think we should go over what that means. Like, what were we before? We
Castle law only.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. You guys good?
Yep.
Yeah. Just making my last post here.
Good evening, everyone. Highlights of the news. Traffic accident. Run. Beaver County man being held for murder. It's more later.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. And with that being said, let's get this show started.
Jesus.
What it is, what it do. I know those were like just in the they were in the view, and I was like, this looks fucking stupid.
Those are the gold, man.
Yeah, you just hit the snack treasure chest over there. What's going on? What's going on, guys? This is Chris is acting like I just opened up a box of porn.
You're like the fat kid from Heavyweights.
Jesus.
Is it just a bunch of food? I can't see it.
Yeah. Snacks. Got some candy canes.
Bro, that is a weird assortment.
Bunch of truffles and
Twix.
Target had all their stuff on the clearance, all their like holiday stuff. So
Heavyweights is a great movie.
Oh,
it's
dude,
fantastic.
so good. Ben Stiller.
yes, it's a good movie. All right, so this is Made to Motivate podcast. This is season 3, episode 16, I think. Yeah, I think it's episode 16. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. I'm joined, as always, by Jesse Young from Sports Illustrated. How's it going, sir?
It's going good. Question, though.
He's got it.
Isn't it season 4,
Yep.
episode 1?
He's got it.
Hey-o.
It's a new year.
Whoop-de-woo. Let's start this back. Rewind. Welcome to Made to Motivate podcast. This is season 4, episode 1. Good call, Jesse. Yeah.
I was like, I could have swore we had this conversation, but I haven't had a memory thing in a while. So
Jesse remembered something I didn't remember.
that's right, baby.
Jesus.
2021. I'm a changed man.
Oh my God. New year, new Jesse. Yeah. So actually, the seasons run from the first of the year to the anniversary date, and from the anniversary date to the end of the year. So technically, yeah, with the new year, it is season 4, episode 1.
Jeez.
Pretty cool. I think this is episode like 67, 68 or so. Damn, we don't have anything new and exciting because of the new season. I'll have to think of something maybe for next week. But anyhow, yeah, joined by Jesse. Everything's good.
Everything's good.
Cool. Chris, the film free Kessinger.
What's up, sir?
How you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. What is new and exciting? New year. We'll have fun-filled show for you guys. We're going to do a little bit of a look back of this year, some forecasting for the new year maybe, and our normal segments and everything. But outside of that, what's new and exciting from last week, Jesse?
In 15 days,
Jesse's going to be a dad.
I will technically, possibly, I don't know. The egg goes in. Do I call myself a dad at that point?
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. Well, I'll be a dad in 15 days.
That's wild, bro.
yeah.
What's the date? The 19th?
The 19th it goes in. The 28th we do a pregnancy test to make sure it took.
Heyo.
Is that the first child of, like, can we call it the first child of Made to Motivate?
It absolutely will be.
Okay, cool.
We cannot call it that.
No?
I don't care. We can call it.
That's its nick- that's
Are we
its-
sure?
That's its nickname.
You guys are a little wild. Are we sure that it's the first child?
Hey, I don't have any kids that I know about, and I surely aren't having any kids going forward. So as far as I go, Christopher,
I've
you
got
any-
dust.
Yeah. Illegitimate children. Yeah. So it's the Made to Motivate sponsor,
All right.
Jesse Little Unk. That's exciting. Have you
Yeah.
guys thought about names? Are you going to
Oh, yeah.
find gender out?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
won't know like ahead of time. Like we're not paying that extra to know what it is.
But
Going
you're
in.
gonna
But we'll do it.
know.
Yeah, we'll find out whatever month that is that
Yeah.
you find out.
Yeah, my little brother, they opted to not want to know, so they're not gonna
Nah,
They're not gonna find out.
we
Which
wanna
I'm like, I
know.
want to know.
I want to
man.
paint
I
the
would
room
too.
and
Be prepared. And all
yeah,
that.
I don't want all. I want pink clothes or blue clothes. Don't come in with that yellow and gray shit.
Gender neutral.
Right? Fuck that.
I'm calling girl.
Girl,
No, it's not. I've already spoken into existence.
do
Like
you want a boy?
so does she. Like we literally refer to it as Cooper. Like
Oh, I like that name.
anytime.
Cooper's
Yeah.
a good
So
name. Cooper Unk.
like it's he every time. Like we won't be devastated. Like we'll be happy
Yeah.
either way. But like we both expect for it to
Well,
be a boy.
To be honest with you, Jesse, you might not be saying he or she at all. If things go the way that some people want it to go, you can't refer to them as he or she.
It
or boy
can't
or
be a
girl
twin.
anymore,
That's
so-
true.
Can't be twins.
No, just apparently that's a thing.
Oh, you're just talking about 2021 being. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I'll do what I want.
Do what I want. You're the
Hang it-
parent.
fuck
do
you
what the fuck
people.
want.
Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
Christopher, the film freak Kessinger.
What's up, man?
What is new and exciting?
Tournament is in full swing.
Full poke.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
Stroke.
We had an exciting day of play on Saturday, 6 games in one day, which was back to back to back, so on. Had a lot of fun, a few surprises along the way. A couple veterans dropped. You are playing your game tomorrow. As of right now, all 3 of the Made to Motivate crew is still in the final 10.
But will you make the Elite 8?
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure.
I don't want to be the only guy in the club not in the club. I gotta make sure I win tomorrow.
Yeah, and my opponent was not ranked 15th.
He's good.
he was anything but
Who
15.
did you play?
I played a guy, Paul Strebler, who I just met
okay.
that day,
Yeah.
and he came out, won the first game right off the bat.
All right. Hey.
Yeah.
All right. So you got that going on. Anything new? How was your guys' New Year's? Did you do anything? Sat at home, relaxed, chilled?
I made a bitchin' meal, man.
Oh, you did. I saw that.
So my dad wanted to, because we usually do like a big thing, like either a bunch
Yeah.
of family gets together, or we go somewhere, whatever. Obviously, we weren't doing that this year, so
Right.
my dad was like, "Well, you give me a menu, and I will buy whatever you want me to make."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Fucking dope!" So I made filet mignon.
You gave him a menu of what you were gonna cook, and
And
he just
he
bought
went and
all
bought
the
it
stuff.
all. Yep.
Okay.
And we ended up adding a couple things along the way. So we got filet mignon, which I do the whole cast iron butter based, typical, like
Yeah.
whatever. I made a pepper crusted pork tenderloin with a black cherry glaze.
It's all fancy.
It was
Should've filmed
incredible,
a video.
man. It
You
was
should've
so
filmed
good.
A video of it.
I got photos.
Okay.
I made melting potatoes. I don't know what they're actually called, like professionally, but they're
Yeah.
just like these pillars. Like you cut them into pillars, you brown them on all sides, and then you braise them in chicken stock. So when they come out, they're just like whatever, delicious. I made a seafood scampi with like big shrimp and these crab claws that my dad got that were
Yeah.
just like already broken off. You just had to pull the meat out of them. And then I made French onion soup, which,
Damn.
dude, so I thought it was gonna be bad because
Love French onions.
like there's different recipes. I'd never made it before. I just had seen it a million times. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to make it, and everything was saying to use like Spanish onions, yellow onions, or sweet onions. And I was like, oh, well, I usually use sweet onions for stuff, so I'm gonna get that.
Right.
Man, when that stuff caramelized down, it got down to like a brown glaze
Yeah.
almost. And when I poured it all in, everything, it was so sweet.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck, man, like I don't like sweet onion soup. Like I want it to
Yeah.
be like oniony. And I let it sit for a while, and it totally mellowed out. It ended up being perfect.
Did you
It
get
was
the
so
little
good.
like crock? Did you get the little like crock bowls for
Yeah,
it?
Oh,
got the
yeah.
bowls. We
Oh,
bought
bro.
like
The, like,
French
bread at
baguette
top.
bread. We made big, huge
Yeah.
like medallions, toasted them in the thing with olive oil, pepper, and salt, and then I melted a bunch of Gruyere cheese on top. So good.
Bro, it sounds fantastic.
So we did all that, and then we went over to her family's house. They were not doing like a big thing either.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like the family was there, so
Yeah.
had a couple drinks with them. And that was it, man. And we went home and I knocked out. Steph popped her tire while driving over there. She
Ooh.
popped the curb, so
Was a pot on the curb you meant?
yeah, she
Okay.
can't park. She can't drive.
Women drivers, no survivors.
Yeah, so not.
That's the
Good.
saying, man.
The
But,
thoughts
yeah.
and comments of Ryan Weiss.
Other than that, though, everything was good. It was a good time.
Good deal. Christopher, did you do anything new? Did
Why
you do
the
anything for New Year's or
Why
anything?
the fuck did we let Jesse go first?
Yeah, right. I know. Can't top that.
Here's what I did. I got home from work.
Yeah.
I got a 12-pack of Stella Artois, and I had a stuffed crust pizza from Papa John's.
Yeah.
That's what I had.
How was it?
It was great.
It was good.
It was really
better than Pizza Hut?
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, I think on everything from taste to the volume of the cheese inside of the crust to just the taste of the cheese itself is much better.
I'm a big Papa John's fan as it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked that their stuffed crust doesn't make the rest of the pizza paper thin. Like Pizza Hut.
Yeah.
And Pizza Hut was not always that way.
Mm-mm.
It wasn't until the last couple years.
You see that?
Damn, bro. That looks good. Is that cornbread or is it the potatoes? What's that thing on the side?
potato.
God,
Yeah,
even the
looks-
plate looks fucking fantastic.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Pizza Hut didn't always used to be that way, but now when you get the stuffed crust, it's so thin.
It
it's
is
just gross.
You've got this lump of like the crust that's like this big, and then the pizza's like that.
Papa John's doesn't do that.
No, Papa John's.
That's why I don't like stuffed crust.
Yeah.
We got stuffed crust tonight because Steph's taking all those hormones and everything, so she was all upset. So
From
I got
where?
her
Pizza Hut?
from Pizza Hut, and it's thin and gross, and I don't like it.
So
but-
Papa John's, you have the pizza pan crust is
It's
still
a pizza pie.
it's still just as equally thick
Mm-hmm.
as like if you got a normal pizza, and then they do the stuffed crust. So I'm assuming what they do is they probably have a different size pan or dough that they're using. Because you know what Pizza Hut probably does is they use the regular dough anyways, and then they got to stretch it to make it fold over. So then the middle becomes real thin.
They have frozen dough, man.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm saying
No,
side.
it comes like
Yeah.
disked out already. They just
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what about like the stuffed crust? I wonder. That's just frozen already made.
that. I'm not 100%. I mean, I'm sure that they're not making that fresh. They're not
Yeah.
putting the dough over top of cheese or anything.
Yeah.
It's all. I'm sure they're just.
Oh, so I didn't know Pizza Hut was frozen.
Yeah.
So Domino's makes theirs, or that because you'll see them.
Papa
like,
John's
actually-
does
Papa
too.
John's
That's
does
why they're
too.
always covered in flour.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
I'll give you this. I'm not a huge Papa John's fan, but of the three big chains, it is my favorite.
Papa John's, Pizza Hut, Domino's.
Papa, Domino's, and Pizza Hut. Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Mine's Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. I don't like that they cook their toppings underneath the cheese.
Who?
Mm.
Papa John's does. I don't like it.
I like that. So my favorite is cheese, toppings, cheese, and I love extra cheese.
Yeah, me too.
And Papa John's extra cheese is good, man. I'll get just an extra cheese pizza from there with no toppings
Yeah.
and be perfectly satisfied. Yeah, so that's cool. So just low key.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Compared to Jesse, I just, it just sounds great.
Hey, if you guys ever want to pay, I'll make a menu. And
I'm down. Same with mine. Mine was low key. I worked just like you.
Yeah.
Just chilled. Nothing too wild and crazy. I mean, we used to do like big going out for New Year's back in the day.
Yeah.
Even without COVID, the last couple of years we haven't done that. Just hang at somebody's house, make some food, watch TV, play video games, that sort of thing. But we used to do the big, like, it'd be like 20 people. We'd have like 5-6 couples, and we'd go to like Brico or Crave or something and book an whole room, and
it's too much now.
It is, man.
That doesn't sound good to me, but just like if you go to a friend's house or whatever and they're throwing something, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out and do like a big night on the town or anything.
I much rather just chill at somebody's house almost any day, like
Yeah.
over going out now. Like
It's
someone's hanging out
expensive to
playing video
drink
games
out.
and stuff.
yeah, stock a bar. Everybody brings a bottle. You
Yeah.
get to go.
Sign me up.
Nice little fire.
Yeah.
Poker.
Fireplace.
Yeah, can't be beat.
Man,
We need to play poker again.
We need to play poker again. So we got those cards here. You keep forgetting them. Those are your cards from the
Oh.
magic trick with
Yeah, they
Carter.
can stay. I got more cards.
our famous musician.
Butt crack
or
was almost-
magician.
Musician.
Yeah, Chris's ass was out.
Jeez.
Anything? Do we want to talk New Year's in one of the segments or just rip it off? I don't really have a plan for that.
What is
You
there
guys
to
have
talk about?
plans for the New Year's? Like you got
Oh, this year, like
resolution? Do you guys do
Yeah,
resolutions?
let's do it now.
I don't do fucking resolutions.
Just fuck that shit.
I'm remembering things. So there
Yeah.
you go. I guess my resolution is to be a
Good dad.
good dad, I guess. But I
Any-
kind of already thought I would anyways. So
anything you hope to accomplish in? Well, let's get to Chris first. Do you do resolutions?
I don't usually, but I do have one this year.
Okay, and
I'm going to Blockbuster this year.
yeah, me too.
That's my
Nice.
resolution.
I'm going with you. Yep, let's make that happen.
Like I am 100% doing that.
Yeah.
If I don't, I'll feel it's a disappointment and a failure of a year.
And you got to make it happen before the potential of it not last.
Yes.
While it's still open.
It's right here. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of it every day. So yeah.
Dope. outside of that, do you have, so you don't do resolutions, Jesse, but do you have anything you hope to accomplish this year?
I want to do the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
For sure. I want to do it right. Expand my articles and stuff like that. I want teacher of the year. I know that. I've been feeding that to my friends. I don't know if it is, but I've been telling them like, hey man, I've got teacher of the month before. So I was like, hey, when teacher of the year comes up,
Employee of the month,
put that name down. But
yeah,
no, other than that, I mean, there's not a lot to it. We're trying to just be like better in general, I guess, like cleaner and shit.
Such assholes.
Fucking gross.
How many teachers of the year come out of Barberton?
None.
Yeah, I was gonna say
none. They don't pass their levies. So
is there anything you have to do or like anything you anticipate being different because you're gonna be a parent? Like, do you guys have to prepare, do anything for that specifically?
I don't think so. Like, we gotta.
That's a big lifestyle change, I feel like.
It is, but like it's still going to be small enough that we don't have to do a ton of stuff. Like, we don't have to like overhaul the house or anything.
Yeah.
It's not going to be walking right away. So like that stuff can be, well, I don't know what it'll be yet.
That
thing.
But like eventually she uses our guest bedroom just to like house all of her clothes and makeup and shit. So we'll have to clear that out.
So you gotta
I put some little bumpers on the corners and outlets, put a gate up on the thing and all that. Yeah.
Babyfy your house.
Yeah. Right. But other than that, I don't think so. I'm just gonna be like, all right, here's a box, go play.
Oh my God. It's not a cat.
That's no, they are like cats. Anytime I have nieces and nephews that are little, I've watched this happen. You buy them the most elaborate thing.
Yeah.
And they're done with it in a week, but they're like playing fucking lightsaber with the tubes from the wrap. So I'm gonna get a kid a box and he'll have an imagination. I don't know, make millions of dollars one day.
Jesus.
What's your goals?
Dude, I honestly haven't even thought about it. Just because I don't know what to expect for this year. You know, like I still don't think we really have an idea of when is this COVID stuff going to be over? You know, our restrictions on traveling. I mean, you can travel. Like I traveled this in 2020 still. That's always my ultimate goal is just travel as much as I can. And I really got like, I still traveled in 2020, but it wasn't to like the places and things I wanted to do.
Have you ever traveled outside of the country?
Yeah.
Like other than like Mexico, Canada?
Yeah. I've been to Belize before.
Oh, sweet.
I've been to South America.
Okay.
So yeah, I've done international. Traveling's always my big one. You know, I want to just travel more this year and I just hope that it's better than last year. Like I don't do resolutions. My goals are always just kind of achieving like doing stuff with the show, you know, whether we come up with some new concepts or something to build this up, start booking weddings again. You know, thankfully I didn't take on too many last year because they would have all gotten canceled and that would have sucked. So, but I'd like to get back to that building. I got to finish the deck so I can get that off my freaking back. And it's not I don't have to listen to that every week.
Oh boy.
We
want to finish too.
Yeah. And we can actually use it. So.
We were promised an outdoor show, cooking out with a fire.
Now it works. So we could do that as soon as we feel fit because
we want it to be aesthetically pleasing.
It is. Have you seen it? I guess you guys haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's to the point now where like you wouldn't know it's not done. Like you can fully use it. I just need to sand it down. And
so we're gonna get splinters.
Yeah, you're gonna get splinters.
I've seen you fall off it.
Okay. Awful. My back and ass are still bruised from that. So yeah, I don't have any really big plans. Just hope for a solid year and get some traveling in. That's really it. Not have as awful as the year as 2020 was.
I want to do my goal for the show as an atmospheric show. We've already talked about it, but like in the woods or something, like with those sounds and
Bigfoot show.
I know
we got to go hunt the Bigfoot.
That's fine.
I would be super dope to plan a show like camp, like camp for a weekend, but bring the full setup and do it like out, like Chris said, like out in the woods or something.
Get a fire right by the sound, like to where you can hear the cackling.
Legitimately though, if we wanted to do that, how would we do that? Like power wise,
if we wanted to do a show,
because if you do like a generator or something, it's like
so whenever I camp, I do campsites that have electric.
Okay.
So we just plug in, just bring our
extensions,
power block, and then plug everything in. Because I mean, I still camp full on tent and everything, but I like having power hookup for phones and that kind of stuff. So whenever I go anywhere, I always do the electric hookup sites. It's like $30 for a night. Get full power thing there, and then we're good.
Yeah,
set all our stuff up. That'd be cool. Anything else?
No, my goals are very grounded. Run the tournaments again.
Yeah.
Go to Blockbuster.
Mini golf, man.
Chicken road trip.
Yes, we do need to do chicken roll. We talked about that.
This is season 4, man. We
I
were talking about that in
know.
season 1.
Yeah.
That was 1 or 2, right?
Chris wasn't even like a full-time part of the show when we brought that
was
up.
long before my time.
Fuck. Yeah, we got to make some shit actually happen this year. We got so held back because of. I mean, that was a year-long thing, basically.
It's still going.
We're not. I was gonna say we're not over yet.
Right, but I mean, like,
just
do we have
Chris
any,
is vaccinated doesn't mean it's over.
Do we have any sort of idea on, like, do we know?
Fauci said that he thinks that we're like turning the corner because of the vaccinations, but there's reports out now that like Pfizer and Moderna aren't able to keep up with the demand.
Yep.
But Johnson & Johnson has a vaccine coming out where it's going to be a one-shot done, no refrigeration, and they're saying that that's going to be like the next one that gets approved and it'll be good to go. And I trust Johnson & Johnson. I'll take theirs.
And
they got sued before.
That's the keys. We gotta administer more shots. Basically, we need to approve more vaccines. Right now, there's only 2 or 3 on the market.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. If you're only gonna have 2 or 3, they're only gonna be able to produce so many. So we need more. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Did you say Johnson & Johnson got sued for something
they've,
like that?
They've been sued before for one of their products or something causing cancer or something like that.
Man, Johnson & Johnson's family company.
Yeah, dude, it was like
I trust Johnson.
Yeah, shitting on the trust,
dude. It was like
was it a vaccine or was it like baby powder?
It was like baby powder or something.
Oh well, there you go. I won't buy their baby powder from a baby.
Just ovarian cancer lawsuit.
Oh, well, there you go.
From Johnson & Johnson.
I don't have ovaries, so my trust is still there.
Yeah. Fuck everyone else, as long as you don't.
Not
have
everyone
ovaries.
else. 49% of the population.
Jesus.
51% of the
There's
population.
more women than guys?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
It's a little.
The thoughts and comments of Jesse Young do not reflect the Made to Motivate podcast in any way.
I mean, Jesse, you're only allowed to have one, so it's irrelevant if there's another 51%.
It's true. I'm just saying. Why you want all the dicks in the world?
Oh my God. All right. Enough of that.
And we're off.
Yeah, we're off the rails. Yeah, so I don't know. It's hard to plan for this New Year's because we always say like, oh, it can never be worse. Well, you honestly never fucking know. After this year, anything is possible. So
I wouldn't tempt it.
Yeah. Outside of that, we'll just kind of play it by ear. You know, we appreciate you guys continuing to listen and everything, share and all that fun stuff. I did a Venmo challenge, so that was cool. I did the Applebee's in Broomfield. That dude was super legit. And I posted that. So many people know him. Like I posted about how he was good and his name, and so many people commented like, "Oh my God, we know him. He's so good." Like because of his service.
Well, that's good. Then
there was a ton of people that recognized his name and like his service there. So that's really cool.
So then people know him. Then they appreciate that the same way you do. Yeah. So then I think it was a good recipient.
It was good to show that it went to somebody obviously that was worthy of that. So he got $100 tip.
I got
good.
One question about your bill. How the fuck did you spend $45 at Applebee's?
That's a good question.
Like drinks?
Was it just you?
No, it was me and Ashley.
Oh, gotcha.
I thought it was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was. I don't know. It's a good question. I don't even know how we spent that much money.
I thought it was just him, and I'm like, $45.
Oh God, no.
God, I haven't spent that in like 3 visits there.
Jesus, no. It was.
I go for half off apps, man. I'm out of there for $10 every time.
See, that's the thing. We went at lunchtime, and we went the day Ashley came and told me lovely news, and we're just like, let's go get some food and talk, and because that's what I go half off app night. Like I don't spend $10 at Applebee's.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, $50 fucking.
That's the thing that sucks. Now I'm like, do I really want to be there at 10? Like I'm gonna be tired tomorrow. I used to be like, fuck it, it's 10 o'clock. Who cares?
Yeah. The worst thing ever was when me and Dan were consistently going to the gym. Like we need to go back, but we'd always go at night. We go to fucking half off apps after working out.
Yeah. And those wings are the worst thing in the world for you to eat, man.
But they're so good.
They
Best
are.
boneless wings, bro.
They are, but they're awful for you. One order is like your daily amount of calories.
Oh, yeah. Whoops.
And then you got mott sticks on top of it and drinks. Whew.
Yeah, dude.
That'll set in great right after a workout.
Bro, it's awful. I was like, great. So that workout canceled out what I just ate. I didn't do any good. I didn't benefit myself at all. What a disaster. All right. Well, where do we want to start? What's exciting? Like, what are we excited about?
We're excited about everything.
Well, someone in here has been waiting for 18 years for something.
Let's start with Let's Get Social.
Okay.
That's fine. Save the best for last, baby.
Let him build up the anticipation over there.
It is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the news goes. As both my co-hosts are just buried in their phones, I'll carry on the show.
I'm paying attention. I'm going through my notes.
I know. I'm just busting your balls. Every time I switch to Jesse on the mixer, it's just he's enthralled.
They teach you not to look into the camera. So
let's get social. What is going on? Fuck, man? I don't even know. We got Stand Your Ground. We've got.
Let's start there.
You want to start with Stand Your Ground?
Start right there.
So Ohio, was it a law that's passed?
Yes.
What it was? So
we are officially a Stand Your Ground state.
We'll give it to Jesse. He conducted our gun safety laws and stuff show on episode 2 of season 1.
Yep.
So we were a castle law state before.
Yes.
Which meant what for the people that aren't aware?
Castle law meant that you had the right to shoot somebody within your home, basically for any reason. If you felt threatened, you didn't have to retreat. So if I break into your house at night, you don't have to wait and see what I'm there for. You just got to shoot.
But you could not pursue, right?
You could not pursue.
Yeah.
It was only if you felt threatened.
Yeah.
So there are some things, if I'm walking out of your house with your TV in my hands, you can't shoot me for stealing from you because I'm not a threat. Or if I'm running out the door, you can't shoot me in the back.
Right.
But if I'm walking towards you, you see me and I'm got nothing in my hands, but I'm in the house and you react and shoot me, you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Castle law pertains only to your home and your vehicle.
Yep.
And a lot of times your vehicle doesn't count either because you always have the option to drive away. So that typically, unless you're like windows down and they're grabbing you or something, you were going to be busted for that.
Yep.
We are now Stand Your Ground, which means that this is for anywhere, public place, walking down the street, anything like that. You are not required to retreat from a threat before you pull your weapon.
Now, does that have any incumbents on whether or not you're open carry or CCW? Is there a difference?
No. In the past, if I saw you walking down the street towards me with a knife, I was required by law to turn and run if I can escape.
Yeah.
Now, if I see you walking down, I can pull my gun. I don't even have to tell you to stop. I can just, well, he was walking at me with a knife.
Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Which is scary. I think that there's pros and cons with everything, but with especially with Ohio being an open carry state, it's kind of scary. Pretty much anybody can just walk around carrying a gun, and there's nothing. I think that goes into like what we talked about on the second episode show or whatever about people not being trained or knowing how to use their weapons and things like that. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this change for Ohio? Do we know why we made a change?
It kind of came up suddenly. I just saw a report maybe 2 weeks ago that said that they were considering it, and now it's law.
Well, DeWine's got to win back the Republican vote.
Yeah.
I think that might be it.
So,
yeah,
you know,
what are your guys' thoughts on it?
Go ahead. You said you had some.
My feelings on it is more bad than good. I do definitely recognize the fact that we need more of a law that, benefits our favor in terms of that we can defend ourselves and, to that degree. The problem is laws like this are the reason why, cases like Trayvon Martin and Jordan Davis happened in the first place. So to me, this is just more of a wide scale problem that this is going to document into. You can't tell me there's not going to come a time where there's going to be, a wrongful way that this is used, and it's going to become a big court case, and it's going to look bad on our state in the same way it did on those respective states. Yeah. To me, it's the people who are for this are the ones who are either, I'm going to make a general assumption here, responsible or not, are basically racist people who say, well, if they don't, break into your house or they don't attack you in the first place, then you have nothing to worry about in that regard.
Right.
To me, this kind of creates more of a gray ground in the middle there where it's like, okay, but where does that line start and where does the line of self-defense end? I see only bad coming from this, and I see more lives lost just from misunderstandings. So like say someone's on the street, walking down and someone approaches them and they feel threatened by it or something like that. Suddenly that death is justifiable. Their gun taken out, shoot them dead. Suddenly that's justifiable.
Yeah.
I got a problem with that.
Yeah. I agree to the extent of, so like for me, I'm going to use my weapon regardless of the law, if I know that I need to do it to protect myself. Mm-hmm. So like, regardless if we're Castle State or
stand
your ground. I'm going to, if I feel threatened and my life is in danger and I have a weapon to protect myself, I'm going to use it and face the consequences later, but I'm not going to use it unless I feel it's absolutely necessary. And that's a kind of a common sense thing. It's going through courses and training and stuff like that. I think it's scary that we're passing laws like this, but we're not looking into or passing the things to further safety of gun sales and things like that. I think that we need to implement more of that. And it's crazy to me that, I guess I'm not really against it, but it's scary to me being in an open carry state. That always was kind of a scary thing to me, that just unlicensed people can just carry a gun around and it's not a big deal.
Attain it.
And it's not an issue. But I agree with you. I think it's any situation where like the criminals and stuff like that are going to take advantage of whatever loopholes they can find. I'm not against it. I'm not for it. I wish we spent a little bit more time on other gun safety and other gun laws. Like what was the necessity in this, other than like what you said, trying to please a certain party or a certain group of people.
So my question is, I guess we'll use you and I as the scenario here. You come walking up toward me. We don't know each other on the street. You're walking this way. I'm walking this way.
Yeah.
I just don't like the way you look.
Yeah.
I don't like your beard. I don't like your tattoos, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just go, well, I felt threatened. He was walking rather fast toward me.
Yeah.
Is that justifiable now that I can gun you down?
Right.
What's the line between that? So does there have to be physical contact?
Right. Or do you know, Jesse, do they have to have a weapon? Can it just be that like someone's going to like jump you in the street and you feel that you're threatened, you're enough to kill them or shoot them?
You have to justify the threat. Which is the point that I wanted to get into, because in a case like that, if you gunned him down, you're going to go to jail.
He's a jogger though. He's jogging toward me.
It wouldn't matter because you couldn't see a weapon and you don't have any injuries. But the problem right there is the mentality that Chris just now had.
Yeah.
He wasn't sure of whether or not he could kill him.
Yeah.
And my issue isn't necessarily with the law itself, because the law itself is no different than what we could already do anyways. If your life was in danger and your life was threatened, you can shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Should you retreat if you can? Absolutely. I shouldn't take a life if I don't have to. It doesn't matter to me if that guy's a piece of shit and he really was going to take my wallet. That's not worth his life or my life. If I can turn and run, I'm going to turn and run.
Right.
And any responsible gun owner would know that anyways, because you don't know what that person has. And if I do draw my weapon, if they take it from me, if they shoot me first, you don't pull a gun unless you know you are going to use it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they're cowboys that are going to hold somebody up or something, and that's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to put myself in a more dangerous position. If Steph and I are in a gas station and it gets robbed, I'm not going to stop them. I'm going to have her tucked down in the back of the, beer freezer as far back as we can get away from the action, even if I have my gun on me. But regardless of that, people do not know their laws.
Yep.
If you look at the comment sections on all of these news sites that are reporting this, it's all these people going, well, this is good. I shouldn't have to retreat if I got somebody in my home. And it's like, you never fucking had to.
Right.
First off, it's castle law. Second off, you don't have to anyways. You can defend your life. That's part of the being an American, being pretty much almost anywhere in the world that allows you to have a gun.
Yeah.
If somebody threatens your life, you can shoot them. So nobody's taking away your perception that you have. I mean, people dream about this stuff. I wish somebody would break in my house so that I could. They think they're going to go down like John Wick and fucking take somebody out.
Yeah.
And they think it's going to be a gunfight. And it's always these things in their heads. And it's not what it is. Gunfights last, 3 seconds or less.
Yeah.
And then somebody is dead.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it ain't the person that goes down to check their house. If somebody's there and they really want to harm you, they're ready to go before you can react.
Yeah.
It's a reactionary thing.
Yeah.
But the problem is now people here stand your ground and they don't have to retreat. And they do think that it's something where you get some freaking Karen lady who ends up in the wrong place and some guy comes up to her car, hey lady, you got $1 or something, and she shoots him because she thinks that he's going to whatever. Now she's going to end up in jail, but that guy's also dead, and it's just not going to work out.
I don't think this is necessarily going to prevent jail time or anything, but it might lessen what you're charged with. So because now technically the law has changed,
you might get manslaughter instead of murder. But my biggest issue with it is, and the perfect example is Trayvon Martin. You better hope to God there ain't no witnesses, or that there are witnesses if you get shot, because Trayvon Martin didn't do anything wrong. He got stalked by a guy, and I followed that case very clearly. And based on the evidence I thought Yeah, he jumped him. He had, defensive wounds. He had wounds on his head. He had, skin underneath the fingers, like whatever.
Yeah.
But now you look at George Zimmerman's track record since then.
Yeah.
It's clear that he instigated a situation. Maybe Trayvon punched him.
Yeah.
That's another thing people don't know. I can't get in Chris's face and tell him that he's a bitch and, go fuck your mother and this and that and get him to the point where he punches me and then shoot him.
Yeah.
You're going to jail for murder for that because you've instigated it. That's another thing people don't realize.
Yeah.
But if you get into a situation like that, these people think, you feel a sense of comfort when you have your weapon. I feel safer whenever I have my weapon.
Right.
And there have been times where somebody's gotten in my face and stuff, and I never thought about pulling my weapon on them, but I felt better, even though that guy was bigger than me. I'm like, well, if it gets to that point, I'll be okay.
So just for the sake of example, I know you use Chris's thing, but okay, the Twisted Tea guy had that white dude pulled out a gun and shot the guy after he hit him in the face. Who would technically be in the wrong there?
The black guy would be dead and the white guy would go to jail.
Yeah, because he instigated it, but did he? I mean, I don't know. That's tough.
And the
what
point
situation of that is in the wrong.
And the point too that Jesse's trying to make is, so like in that Twisted Tea case is like, yeah, the guy would go to jail, but at the same time, it's a life lost,
right?
Nonetheless, it's
right.
like that didn't need to happen in the first place.
Yeah.
Now that guy probably would get off on a manslaughter charge and be out in 7 years or something.
Wow. So
but
worth it, man.
And I think the only reason that he would is because that dude's got on top of him and started beating him, and he could argue that he felt threatened at that point, and that's when it got. But he still instigated that fight. He's going to get something,
right?
But who knows? I mean, the way things go nowadays, we could very well be saying that guy's name on the news and having people marching and rallying because that guy gets off, and they'd go. You'd have people on one side saying, "Well, he shouldn't have hit him. It's just a word," and there would have been people on the other side saying, "Well, you shouldn't be saying that word and instigating fights."
Yeah,
and
I had that all over my page.
So I don't know. I just feel like people get this sense of invincibility when they have their weapon, when they're not responsible gun owners, because it is a power trip. That's why kids get them. It's why gang violence happens. It's all that. And if you now have this law that makes me think, because I don't know my laws and I'm an uneducated, irresponsible gun owner, now I think, well, if somebody fucks with me, I can shoot them as long as I feel like my life is threatened, and I can justify that. And now you're ruining two lives just like you would any other time, where otherwise you might have been like, yeah, well, I ain't going to jail, so fuck you.
Right.
And you think that's more apt to happen because of stuff like this?
Yeah. And I don't think it's a problem necessarily with how the law is written, but I think it's a problem with the mentality that the law brings, because people don't research and look into things. They don't look at prior cases. They don't look at, anything like that. And Trayvon Martin's a perfect example, because without a witness, I can say anything. I mean, you could have that scenario where I go, I don't like Ryan's fucking face. So I shoot him and I bash my head on a wall.
Yep. It's my word against the dead man's.
Right. I might go, oh, fuck, I fucked up. And I might just, boom, he hit me, slam my head against the wall, scrape his finger. I mean, who knows? The extent of it probably wouldn't happen to that point, but the problem is that it could.
Yeah.
And even if you just instigate the fight and make the fight happen so you can shoot the person, if nobody's there to see it, and I've got a black eye and all that other stuff, and that guy's bigger than me, like, as long as it's not some 11-year-old kid or something, like Ryan's bigger than me, I could say I was frightened. He weighs,
he's physically
80 pounds more than me.
Yeah.
Jesus, asshole. No, I think knowing the law is important. I think knowing your laws and what protects you is very important. But I also think that there needs to be more focus on just responsible gun ownership.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think that I don't think a lot of people realize that when you go for your concealed carry licensing, that they discuss a lot of that with you. Like, there's so much I learned about the law.
8-hour sit down.
Yeah. Now it's like 13 hours.
Jesus.
In Ohio.
I think they brought it down. It used to be 13.
It used to be like 13 hours. But you learn about a lot of that law. And I think if more people were focused on licensing themselves, educating themselves, and knowing how and when to use your firearm, the laws would be irrelevant, because you'd be doing it responsibly and only when necessary. At which point you're going to be fine under either of the two laws, because you're practicing just safe gun ownership.
And you know that.
Yeah. And you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I just wish things like why did this need to change? I think it's irrelevant. It's like, focus more on that sort of thing. When we were spending time deciding we were going to change the gun law, what time did we spend on safe gun sales and background checks and things like that.
You can't do any of that though, because that's socialism and stepping on the Constitution and all that bullshit that people preach. And it's just stupid.
Yeah. So, new gun laws in Ohio. If you're a gun owner, check it out. Know your laws, know your rights. If you're not, look into it. I think it's very important. I think taking a CCW course can be really educational. It's worth looking into.
And do not use your gun unless you feel you absolutely have to.
Right. Yeah. There's never a time where I've felt like I've needed to pull my firearm. Like you shouldn't.
I've never pulled my firearm on somebody. One time when I was driving home, a guy was following me and trying to cut me off and doing all this crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what had happened, if I had accidentally cut him off or what, but he was just very threatening, cussing at me crazy. And I had my gun on my lap.
Yeah.
I never pointed it at him, never pulled it up. Because that's the other thing. People do stupid shit. Like they think that they'll point it at you and that person will get scared.
Right.
And that person might be a dude that doesn't give a shit and pull back and shoot at you.
He has a gun and says, "Hey, you pointed a gun at me at that point, then, and you have a gun when the cops come and see that you had a gun. And you're fucked at that point." Yeah, same thing. Like I've never had to point a gun at anybody, but there's been times where like I've taken it out of my glove box and put it on my seat next to me. I'm like, all right, this is kind of sketchy situation, or I'm in a sketchy area or something like that. But like, it's not like you said, you're not gonna be John Wick in somebody, you know, like, or John McClane. You're not. It's a nervous situation. If you ever have to pull your gun, you're got a lot going on in your head right then. You know, it's not going to be just an easy, I'm walking down my stairs and shooting somebody. You're gonna have fear in you. You're gonna be nervous. Like
and that could predetermine what your result's going to be.
30% is the amount of bullets that NYPD officers who had to pull and fire their gun hit their target.
Jesus,
those guys are professionals who have to maintain certain requirements on their accuracy tests, have to do it a certain amount of times a month. And it was 30%.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's even less in the military.
Yeah. You got to think. And that was one of the things that I found out in my CCW, which you just don't think about in a normal everyday situation. But if you do pull your gun on someone and you pull it rightfully, you know, and you shoot at them and miss and you hit somebody else.
Oh, great point.
You are responsible for that.
Yeah.
You know, like even like within your house, I mean, using the right type of bullets.
Yeah.
You got to use hollow point. So like if I shoot, someone breaks in my house and I shoot them, I have hollow point bullets so that if it hits a wall, it's going to blow up and it's not going through that wall into my neighbor's house and killing their kid or killing one of them. You know, those are things you really got to know. And that's just part of being a responsible gun owner.
Like this confrontation happens in a public park.
Yeah. And you miss because you're not even that 30% that hits their target, and you miss and it hits the kid that's playing basketball on the basketball court. Well, you just murdered an unarmed bystander.
It had nothing to do with it.
Yep. So it's scary.
Yeah. First thing that my guy taught me in my CCW class was, he said, you know, make sure you pull it only if you need it. And then he goes, and don't pull it unless you know you're going to need it, because you know what? Most of the time you're going to be the one that gets shot if they're drawn on you first. Getting shot is not fun. He goes, and this was the first time I ever realized this. He was like, you know, it burns, it hurts, but on top of that, you get shot in your arm, you might die. He goes, in the movies, they get shot in their arms and they keep going and they act like it's nothing. They're still got their arm up shooting. He goes, first off, most of your major nerves are in there. He goes, you have major arteries in there. A lot of people get killed just from getting shot right here. And you don't think about that.
You have a hole about that big going through your arm too. Yeah.
Where did you take your CCW at? Where did you go?
I did it in, it was a friend of mine's. He had a friend from his work who got him in. So he brought me along. We did it at his house.
Okay.
We did 12 hours and then we did our shooting at the range. I think it was at, Pro Armament.
Okay.
I believe.
The Falls.
I'm not 100% sure. Right on Front Street. Yeah.
I went to Roger Polk. Have you heard of Roger Polk? So if you're looking to get licensed and you're not already, highly recommend, not a sponsor, but Roger Polk, he does it in Wadsworth. It's like $40. Yeah. And a lot of people think, oh, it's $40. That doesn't know what he's doing. No, he does it cheap because he wants more people to get licensed and be educated.
Yeah.
Ex-military, ex-police officer.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's $40. He still sticks to the original laws, even though they've been shortened, because he's like, I think it's important. I don't think 8 hours is enough.
Yeah.
If you sign up, you still got to do the like 12 or 13-hour course on Saturday. And then Sunday, he has a private range at his house and you do it there. And he walks you through it. And he was really educational. They have someone that comes and sets up a photo booth. They'll take your photo that you have to have for turning in your certificate and getting actually licensed and stuff, like your passport photo. I highly recommend him. He was awesome. You got a full NRA packet with all the books and everything, all included in that price. Like, it was really inexpensive, very educational. Gave everybody his personal phone number. He's like, if you're ever in a situation and you have questions, or like you just shot someone, call me.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't matter. Call me. So you get pulled over and you're unsure, drop my name. If you're having a situation with a police officer, you know, when you're licensed or whatever, hey, you know, I was trained by Roger Polk, whatever. Like, he knows a lot of people within the area and the community and stuff. He was fantastic.
So that's a guy who has a great and knowledgeable perception of the world. Yeah. So like, and he's going to use that to teach as many people as he can, because he knows not everybody is going to be as knowledgeable as he is.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed going his course and just the way he taught it, and it was great. So check him out though, Roger Polk. You can probably search it find him online. I'll like, when people post, hey, I want to get my CCW, where should I go? I'll comment that, and there'll be a ton of people that will say the same name. He was fantastic. So that's
one thing I wish I would have done. I wish I would have gotten mine like in person with someone. My classes were online, and then I went to, there was this, I think it was a range. It was out in Talmadge, like almost by the high school. And I got my CCW there. Like, they took the picture there. They did all the in contact and physical stuff there. But they said, study this for, you know, this will take you 8 hours and go through it all. Yeah.
I still have my book with all my laws and regulations and all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah. I kept it all filed. I have my certificate from when I passed, and the packet he gave me and everything. I all had that all in an ammo crate. Yeah. Everything's in there, so I have it if I ever need it or whatever. I want to check on a law or something.
Just in case Chris is jogging towards you, you can pull up Article 5, Section B.
Yep.
You cannot shoot Chris. Fuck.
Yeah. If they're within 5 feet and 6 inches. Okay, let me step back. All right, you're fucked. So
COVID safe.
Right. That should be the new thing now. Someone's approaching. Well, if you're staying within your social distancing, there should be no reason you should have to pull your firearm. My God. The only other thing that I was curious about is stimulus checks dropped or direct deposits dropped, but neither of you have gotten yours.
No.
Did you guys file jointly, like you and Steph?
Yeah.
So you obviously didn't get anything.
Nope.
Nothing.
No, and I'm like, I'm the quickest way possible. So like W-2s, I always get it electronically through my work. You know, automatic deposit. Yep. I don't want to see any paper being sent to my house, like at all. So yeah, I'm usually one of the first ones that does my taxes every year.
I got my 1,200 before you guys this time, so I don't know. Maybe maybe they're going reverse order this time or something.
I got mine like the first day, and I didn't realize it though because it went into my business account. So like when I filed my taxes, my direct deposit goes into the business account because I'm also filing my business. So I didn't even look. I didn't even realize. I didn't even know they were coming out.
Yeah.
And then everybody was posting online that they were getting them, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I opened my bank account, didn't see it, and then realized that I file everything into my business account. And it was there, and it had been there on like the 30th or 31st, whatever day the first day that they like dropped, it was in there.
I wonder if that helps though, because yours is technically a business account, so I wonder if that pushes it along further.
I don't know though, because it's still a personal stimulus. It's just the bank account that I have set up as a business, like for my direct deposit to go into. But it's weird how many people have not gotten it. Like, I've had a lot of people post that they have not received them.
Yeah, I mean, I got my 1,200 pretty fast once they passed that back in, was it April?
Yeah, April or March.
I got that like really fast. I remember.
If are they still talking about upping it? Will we just get like a difference, like a $1,400 deposit? If they did it?
Biden's talking about doing it once he's in, possibly doing the 2,000, but
he ain't going.
We're not getting anything until then, though.
Yeah, he's already won at this point. What's it matter?
And the only chance they have of that is if Georgia goes in the Democrats' favor in terms of this whole runoff.
Yeah.
But
which it might.
What's going on with that?
Well, basically, I don't know when it is. I'm actually not very knowledgeable on this.
I think it's this month.
Yeah, it is this month. I didn't think it was soon. So they're still doing the election runoffs and all that as far as like, you know, the senators go, whether it's going to go red or whether it's going to go blue. And if it goes blue, it's just enough to tip in the Democrats' favor. So they would have a Senate majority.
Which would be huge for passing laws and stuff because Trump had the Senate, but Obama did not. Obama got blocked a lot. Trump got blocked a lot also, but that was because of just like crazy fighting on their end. It wasn't necessarily because of numbers.
Yeah.
So if Biden ends up getting the Senate, you're going to see a lot of like more progressive stuff going through for sure, which some people are not happy about. There's some stuff. I mean, I don't know. I'm not fully.
What happens if
progressive.
Trump wins Georgia though and becomes president?
That won't happen. Want to know why?
I think it's possible.
It's not possible.
We'll talk about that later. I think the checks need to happen though, personally, and not just because, you know, obviously free money.
Yeah.
Like, dude, our country's been through the ringer, man.
Yeah.
Really like serious depression that we're heading towards, and if we don't get it soon, like, it's only going to be worse the longer we wait.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they waited too long anyways. Like this time was too little too late.
Yes.
I mean, the very end of the year and you gave $600 is like a Christmas bonus more than anything. Like,
Yeah.
Dude, we got 12 when it wasn't even that bad.
Steph got a $500 bonus. And yeah, 12 when nothing was happening. Nobody had it near us.
right.
There was like 30 cases like in our area.
Yeah. It's, I mean,
Now there's like
I'm
30
grateful.
deaths on my block.
Jeez. Yeah, I'm grateful for it. I'll take whatever the government wants to give me for free money or give me my money back. Like, you know, they're going to hold you accountable for it. But like, I'm very fortunate that I haven't needed it. Like, I've going to work and getting my normal paychecks and I haven't been affected by it. So to me, it's just extra money that I put in my savings account. But for the people that genuinely need it to survive, it's a slap in the face. And like, at this point, we're in a new year now, and the government gave you $1,800 to survive basically a year. That's crazy.
Here's the thing though. Has your job gotten tougher since this whole thing has started?
Absolutely.
You do deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the end of the story right there.
Yeah. I mean, my year at work was awful. I mean, it was.
I'm ready to be done, dude.
Yeah, that's where I was at. Like this year, I mean, to the point where like I considered job change, and I love where I work, and it was just so bad, both from just the company in itself and things that we had to take on and do and extra work, and just dealing with people and just awful people on top of just the stress of everything going on. Like, you have enough going on in your own lives. You're concerned about it. You got family members that are sick, whatever it is. And then you got to deal with just complete assholes. People are just awful. People are just rude in normal circumstances. And then with this all going on, it just made it that much worse. So,
and you got to deal with that face to face. Don't tell me you don't deserve, you know, that you definitely do, regardless if you have a job or not.
Yeah. It's just, it's not a matter of deserving. I just feel like for me, I've never been stressed about it because I'm still going to work and getting my full salary. Like, thankfully, I haven't been in that financial rut or anything due to COVID. You know, I haven't lost my job. I wasn't without work. I didn't have to take on unemployment. Granted, people that got unemployment got the hookup. I mean, they were getting a lot of money.
Yeah.
I wish I was getting that extra like $400 a week bonus that a lot of them were getting.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of people that were working that were frustrated with that, because if your company let you go, you're making more money than the people that were working.
That was I know we lost a lot of people because of that. Like, people quit purposely like from our place just so they could go make more money.
I knew people who just didn't look for work. They lost their jobs legitimately, but they were like, why the fuck would I go get a job right now?
Yeah.
They were talking about that's part of this new bump, I think, as they were re-implementing that. This new stimulus bill was going to be like $600 or $400 extra a week or a month on top of their pay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I'm all for handing out money to people who have lost their jobs, but don't tell us, the people who have worked and kept the economy above ground, that we don't know what it's like going through all this. We've risked our lives every day going to work, keeping this economy running.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, people that are in whatever we want to consider essential line of work, or in a position where you're, even if that's like bartenders or servers or whatever, that are face to face with people having to deal with that.
100%.
You know, I mean, that's still crazy. What just an awful situation all around. We just need to get fucking by it, man. I'm just ready for this shit to be over. Hard reset. Anything else for Let's Get Social?
Did we talk the Trump tapes?
I don't know. I lost track of where we were. Oh yeah. So when Chris was talking about Georgia and things, so there's apparently something going on with fucking ex-POTUS, soon to be ex-POTUS, maybe not, where he is
trying to strong arm his own people into cheating.
Yeah. So there's a tape going around. Now, is this
Washington Post is who reported it.
Is this a phone call that happens on like the Oval Office phone, like just a regular phone call? Like,
and like
those are just recorded and someone leaked it, or what happened?
what is his position? He's Secretary of State. Is that who it is?
Yeah, and he got in trouble because basically Trump was under the impression that he wasn't being recorded. So yeah,
Was there a reason why the guy felt the need to record him?
Probably cases like this.
Well, he knew that this was coming because he has a Twitter.
Yeah.
The
Trump?
No, this. Well, yes,
the Trump has a Twitter.
But this guy,
the Twitter.
How did I know?
The Secretary of State. His name's something weird. Starts with an F. I don't remember. But he, I'm sure, has been pressured about this Georgia election because the fact that Georgia didn't go for Trump is, was shocking for everybody. So Trump's been hounding him about, find these votes, voter fraud, blah, 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 all this fake shit that's been spewed out. And the government is trying to sue people to get exposed, and the court's asking for evidence and they can't give any, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
I'm sure he's gotten phone calls like this before.
Raffensperger.
So Raffensperger records this phone call. It's an hour-long conversation. I've only heard 4 minutes of it, but the entire conversation is out there. Chris, you said you listened to about 20 minutes of it.
Yeah, the longer version of it, I mean, I think it was like an hour and a half or something like that.
Yeah, which I'd blow my, I
can't.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't talk to Trump for an hour and fucking 30 minutes.
But it's just funny. So listening to the longer version, I listened to 20 minutes of it, and it's going around in circles, the same thing over and over again. It's like Trump's asking the same question, and this Raffensperger guy is going, no. Yeah. Like you can tell, like his voice gets more stern, Raffensperger, as they go on, and he's trying to explain to Trump, like, this conspiracy that you were thinking that happened, it's not real, son.
Yeah. So this dude has a Twitter, and they have their conversation. Trump doesn't know that he has been recorded at this point, and Trump immediately goes to Twitter and just berates him, and he goes, you're Secretary of State, Georgia, you need to be making sure you show up for voting time because this guy, I tried to get him to do something about all this voter fraud and he wouldn't do anything. He's done nothing about it. And he just bashed him. And the dude responded and he said, "This is a lie, Mr. President, and the truth will come out soon." And then 4 days later, he leaked the tape.
Is there any laws or anything against having to tell someone that you're recording them or anything? I
don't know. The government recorded us for 10 years. So
he said he is suing him. Trump is raising a lawsuit. Whether that'll work or not, I don't know.
Yeah, because you always hear whenever you, granted, plaintiff's a business, but whenever you call somewhere, if they're recording, they have to tell you, hey, just gotta let you know this is a recorded.
But that's a business, not a private conversation. If me and you call each other and you say something stupid, and I record it and I want to be a dick and release it, you can't sue me for that.
Yeah,
I would always assume
slander. If it's something that you're slandering the person, then you could. But
right,
in this case, I don't know if it is.
These are his own words. It's just a conversation. He didn't make any assumptions or statements about Trump.
Dude, you're the president. I mean, you were recorded when that whole thing, the severity of COVID conversation went down.
Right.
You need to think at this point, everything you are doing is being recorded.
Right.
That's where I think and granted, I'm not defending him one way or another,
No.
but I feel like part of it is he truly believes this.
Oh, I'm sure he does.
And I don't think that in that conversation, I think he truly believes that he has been cheated and that he earned it, and there's something going on, and he wants this guy to find it. And it doesn't make the way he handled it right, because this guy is being kind of pressured by the president, the most powerful man in the world, essentially, which is scary. And
true though.
So I don't know, because he's not a dumb person. Trump is ignorant, and he does a lot of.
Depends on what aspect we're looking at.
That's what I mean. He is ignorant, and he does not really understand.
He knows how to play his followers. We'll say that.
Yeah,
I think that it depends on what you're looking at. All three of us are dumb people if you did look at the right thing. I think that he got into a position of power politically, and he's dumb in that area. He has no idea how to do it. He could call up another business back in the day and be like, hey, maybe you want to pay my guys a little bit more, and put the pressure on them, because you can get away with that in business, but you can't get away with that with a fucking politician and tell him to cheat the vote. He's trying to he uses words like, you need to find 11,780 votes because that's how much I'm down and we won this election.
Yeah,
and you can't say things like, your lawyer, he seemed very sure about what he was saying, but I don't think he's very sure now. Yeah. You're a Republican. You have a big election coming up. Your people are going to be very angry if you don't fix this solution. Yeah. And he's saying all this shit. And it's okay, yeah, he's not saying, I need you to make up these votes or I need you to tweak the numbers, but he's saying as much as he can say without any legal repercussions, which is also a business thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. It just seems like part of me just thinks that he's naive to the situation, and he truly believes that he's and cheated, and he really just wants it to be resolved, and he's not doing anything or not intending to do anything illegal or illicit.
Yeah.
But you don't know with him. I mean, at this point, he has taken this to his last breath, man. This dude is believing he was cheated, that he won this election, and there's nothing that's going to stop him from believing that. And I think he's going to fight it long after he's out of office. Like, I truly think that he thinks that he won.
That's a narcissist, though. They can't see reality. Anything it's they're always tops. They're always number one. They're never wrong. Whatever happens, they are in the right.
Yeah.
There was a Texas representative who he was on Newsmax, which is like the super conservative news site.
I was wondering what that was when you said that the other day. You could work at Newsmax. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Oh yeah.
No, it's like the QAnon of news stations. But like Rudy Giuliani's on it all the time. He's like one of their main people.
Hair drip.
Yeah. And but so this guy was getting interviewed, and they were talking about voter fraud and everything, and they were like, the Electoral College is going to be voting on the 6th. That's when we're officially going to have our president is on the 6th, basically.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, if they're not going to do what's right, then I think that it's time for people to take to the streets and be as violent as Antifa and Black Lives Matter has been. And they cut him off. And if Newsmax is cutting you off,
right,
you've gone too far.
Yeah.
So you got these people now calling for violence. I mean, I was just out on Howell Road and Home Avenue, and they're out there with their big old Trump flags and AR-15s. My buddy sent a video of it to me, and like, these people are out there, and I don't think by any means, because people were talking about like civil war and all this other shit a couple years or months ago or weeks ago, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I think that you could see isolated incidents, and even if you only have 3 or 4, imagine 3 or 4 of the Vegas shootings, or 3 or 4 of the Boston Marathon bombings, or 3 or 4 of the Sandy Hook shootings. Like, that's enough. Those things like shook the nation.
Right.
And it's crazy because like you've got, like we talked about the bombing last week. That hasn't been talked about at all. I don't know anything more about that. I don't see it on the news. I don't see it on Twitter. I don't see it anywhere.
I saw the guy.
And they blew up a whole fucking block.
Yeah. I saw the guy, and they were talking about his diary or whatever, and that he was sending out not conspiracies, but he was sending out things to his friends, like certain letters to his friends that were kind of like should be considered warning signs.
Yeah. And it's just like, so if that's not getting coverage, I hope that there's not isolated incidences that aren't going to get coverage because of this turmoil and craziness because what's the number one thing that people always say that they want their guns for is it's not to protect your home.
Yeah.
It's the Second Amendment is in case we get a tyrannical government.
Yeah.
And if I genuinely believe that this tyrannical government is putting Biden in office to try to cheat the election, to me, in my crazy mind, I'm going to stand up to that tyrannical government.
Right.
And I'm going to do so using my Second Amendment that they're trying to take away from me, because that's where we're heading anyways.
You think so, though? Because to me, all Trump fans are all talk and no walk.
I don't think that it's going to happen on a mass scale, but I do think you'll see isolated, small like things. I think that you will see, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 things, and maybe not even on that day, but it'll happen. That's when somebody's going to start planning. And the 6th, they say Biden won the election, the Electoral College votes are in, and they're going to be going, motherfucker, they were right. And they're going to start planning. And because, I mean, look at the guys like the Vegas shooter. He was a Trumper. He was a big time Trumper. He's had all the fucking craziness and all that stuff. Like, you've got more acts of domestic terrorism now that we hear about than we do about actual terrorism.
That's true.
Like, I grew up terrified. I mean, 9/11 happened when I was 9. I was terrified of Muslim people. Before that, I didn't even realize, because, it's an Italian neighborhood, it's a black neighborhood, and it's an Asian neighborhood. Like, there's not a lot of Muslim people around. And then all of a sudden, people who would walk by in like a turban or in a, I don't know what they're called, their robe type of dress, like, I would have never even thought about it as a 9-year-old. Now I thought that was a terrorist, because that's all you saw everywhere. I was terrified.
See, and that's
you don't think of that at all anymore.
That's part media and part environment as far as responsibility goes
100%.
To paint them that way. That, like, a few Islams are representative of all of them.
Yeah. And it took me a long time to not realize that, though, because like you're a kid, you don't know any better.
No.
Like, it doesn't matter if Bush came on the day after and was like, don't let this determine how we view other Americans. They're our friends and our allies. Like, don't think that just because these few people, blah, 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 blah. None of that stuff mattered to me, though. I'm 9 years old, and I'm like, okay, They're telling you to report anything you see is suspicious of a book bag's laying down in a park. I thought it was a bomb because in my rational mind, they might bomb a park.
Right. Yeah.
Now, as an adult, I would know they're not going to blow up a park with 2 kids in it, but I was scared.
Look at Nashville.
Like kids nowadays, it's the same thing though. Like they see all these. We had 1 million school shootings last year, and now we're leading into just like it's just like crazy. Like it's just there's not been a ton of violence and stuff surrounding it, but like it's just so out there. Yeah. Like people just seem insane to believe some of this shit.
We can move on after this. You raised a good point in terms of saying like the terrorism is now more domesticated than it was, you know, on a global scale, like, you know, other countries invading us. Do you think that might play into why they don't come over here anymore, is because they go, well, look, the cancer's within, let them destroy each other. We don't have to do it anymore.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I don't know what all goes into their brainwashing. People say that it's religious and that they think that we're like sinful pieces of shit, and that might be part of it, but I think that that's more like, I mean, the processes are the exact same. If you look at an extreme Trumper or an extreme left winger, because I don't want to just bash on the right, because it's not always just the right. There's extreme, there are Antifa level left people as well.
Yes.
But all of those people get into those lines with the same level of brainwash. It's usually connected to a value. On the right, it's your Christian values. It's your American values. It's the extreme idea that the government is coming for you and the devil is coming for you. And then you start looking at all of these godless gay people and, you know, sinful. I don't know how race comes into it, but they're typically racist, but I don't know how that ties into the whole thing, but it does.
Yeah.
And you get all of this stuff that happens, and now it gets to the point where you're so filled with hate that you're willing to act on it. And that's when you get your domestic terrorist that blows up a all-black church or goes and shoots up Vegas because of whatever reasoning behind that, probably sinful debauchery. It's the same thing with any type of extremist Muslim terrorist. So is it tied to a value? Yes. Is it solely for that reason? No. Do I think that they just want to destroy America and they would let us destroy ourselves? I don't think so. But they also have just gotten the shit kicked out of them by us for years because of it. And I think it's probably regrouping time. They're still doing stuff in Europe. I mean, they're still fucking everything up over there. France gets hit.
There was just a bombing or shooting or something at a church in Texas. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
It was like yesterday or something.
And you know,
we haven't had anything in a while, but it was like a couple people. It wasn't anything like huge, but regardless. But I mean, that was the first one that we've had of anything like that in a long time. I mean, they said last year, like, no, we didn't have any school. No one was in school, but you know, shootings and stuff were down for the most part, you know. But
it's just crazy that just seems normal now. Like I remember when Sandy Hook happened, it was insanity. People couldn't believe that would happen. And like Columbine changed the entire country forever. And like Boston bombing, I stayed up all night listening to the radio scanners and stuff.
Yeah.
The Vegas shooting happened. That's one of the worst shootings in American history. I didn't think twice about it. And like, there wasn't a ton of coverage about it. That Nashville bomb that went off, it didn't kill anybody, but that thing's got like 100 blocks off the grid right now.
Right.
And those people are just like stuck.
Yeah.
Nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. And even outside of it not creating a lot of damage or deaths, it's still mentally going to scare people. You know, people that live around that are going to be terrified to go around downtown. And you know, it instills that in your mind, which is scary when that stuff happens.
The craziest thing, and then we can get off of this topic because I know we've been going on it, but like the craziest thing to me is if you look at the public perception of that bombing, it's split whether or not he was doing it for a right reason or not.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are now buying into the fact that they think he was trying to expose or stop voter fraud and that there were machines tied to the vote or something in there. And there's a bunch of conspiracy around that. It's not just, you know, in the past it would have been, holy shit, somebody blew up an American city. That's a terrible thing. And he's a piece of shit.
Right.
And now that's not it. It's he's a piece of shit because he was trying to do this for the Democrats, or he's a piece of shit because he blew it up and he was a crazy Trumper, or he was, you know, it's always, everything's tied politically now.
That's an agenda. Yeah. It's all politicized.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was something going on. I don't know if it was whatever
Real.
reason. I mean, you don't do it just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
You know, he had some sort of motive.
You had a belief.
Yeah, there was some reason that dude woke up and said, all right, today's the day I'm going to go place this bomb and fucking blow myself up, whether that was an accident or on purpose, whatever it is. There was something that he was trying to do, message he was trying to send or whatever. Sadly, we'll never know. I mean, he died, and I don't think that we're going to be able to find out what the real motive was, but like everything else that happened this year, everyone is going to find their conspiracy and why he did it. And you can do all the guessing you want. It's irrelevant. Like, the dude blew a bomb up on U.S. territory, and that's just scary.
Yep.
And that shit shouldn't be happening. You know, outside of that, I don't care what it was about, fucking voter fraud or whatever. It's
But if it's on the internet, it's true.
Fucking, what was it on Parler? God. Okay, that's enough of our depressing country and its news.
England let us in.
Right. Nobody wants us. We're the redheaded stepchild now. You want to talk sports? Do we make you hold off long enough?
Sports?
That's your call.
You want to talk sports?
All right, let's do sports.
Let's talk sports.
Swung on, line to deep left field. It is! Goal! 45-40, run, William, run! 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala.
Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James.
LeBron James with the
Imagine
This
that.
is
He's
locker room
back.
talk.
You can always tell on a week when the Browns win.
Yeah. Jesse doesn't hang his head in sorrow over there.
Well,
Good God, man. What's up, Mr. Unk?
Browns are going to the playoffs, guys.
Oh my God, this guy.
We're going to the fucking playoffs. And you know what?
First
You know what the
time in
best
forever.
part? The best part of this is I didn't want to get in on the 7th seed because I knew people would be like, well, you only got in because it was the extended playoffs.
Yeah.
Where the 6th seed, we'd have been there anyways.
I agree.
So fuck off, everybody.
Who got 7?
Colts.
Colts did.
Colts.
Yeah, they pulled it
Wow.
out. It's crazy because you've got a 10-6 Dolphins out.
Mhm.
Dude, we had 3 teams from the same division.
And you've got an 8-8 Bears
crazy.
in and a 7-9 Redskins or Washington football
Well,
team.
NFC
in.
sucks. So
It's just crazy, man. And if the football team would have lost last night, the Giants would have got in with 6 wins.
that's crazy, bro. And then you got the 14-1 or 15-1 Chiefs.
14-2. But
14-2,
I mean, they
yeah.
should be 15-1.
They-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Browns are in what? First time since 2002?
2002.
Yeah, dude. 18 years.
I remember that game very distinctly. We were in Niagara Falls. My dad had a business trip, so we all went up there as like a little mini vacation. And they didn't have the game anywhere. We had to search all over the place. We finally found a little bar, and it was my first time ever getting a Coke with like a cherry Coke, but they do it with like the grenadine that like sticks out in my mind for some reason.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
It's called
Changed my life.
Roy Rogers.
Is it?
That's what they call it. It's
Did
my
not
favorite
know
thing to
that.
get.
And who'd they play on that day, Jesse?
They played the Pittsburgh Steelers.
What happened?
We were kicking your ass.
And then what happened?
Until we weren't.
Until you lost.
We choked, and you guys scored 3 times in the 4th quarter, and you sent us on our way.
It's going to be like deja vu this coming weekend.
Now I have a quiz for you.
Oh, God. I don't do good with
Before that,
quizzes.
the last time the Browns went to the playoffs was when?
Last time the Browns went?
Before 02.
Fuck if I know.
I think I know this.
What was it?
I believe it was 1994.
He's correct. Who did they lose to? The second round.
Steelers. Yeah.
I didn't know that because I was 2.
They
Yeah.
beat the Patriots
Yeah.
and they lost to the Steelers.
Whoopsies. Well, this week is going to be an interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be
It's
an
gonna be
interesting,
interesting.
game, man. I'm super anxious because
Yeah.
here's the deal. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if we win or lose. I don't care about football enough.
I
not.
do.
I know. I'm not
I
Jesse
fucking
Young,
care.
whose like first word was football.
I care so
and-
much. My first word was touchdown.
Yeah, I don't care about that enough. You know what I don't want to listen to is the fucking Browns fans for the next year.
Suck
talking
our
shit.
dick. We beat you in the playoffs.
Just like the Browns fans don't want to hear that from the Steelers for the next
We've heard it
year.
forever, though. Like, we'll get over it in
know.
like a week. I'll be like, whatever, we made it. I'm happy. We've got
Yeah.
progress. You guys, though, if you lose, like,
Yeah.
it's a totally different story both ways.
Absolutely.
Because if we lose, we have our coach, we have our quarterback, we have a high-powered offense, and we're going to fix our defense. And that is the mentality that we have going forward. We're only going to go and get better.
Yeah.
Unless they disappoint us. But the mentality is this isn't the same old Browns and we're going to improve.
Yeah.
If you guys lose, Ben is getting old and you're stuck with him for another year.
Yeah.
Your offense did not perform up to par as how you were supposed to. Your defense is good, but you guys are strapped for cap space. So a bunch of players are going to be leaving soon. And you have Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow both coming back along with the Browns that just beat you.
Yeah. I'm not saying shit for Pittsburgh anymore because every time I make a prediction on Pittsburgh, they turn around and prove me wrong.
That's what I was saying.
So predict Pittsburgh to win.
Jesse made valid points, but here's the thing. Didn't expect them to do well last year. Certainly did not expect them to do as well this year as they did. Now they flopped the second half of the season, but they have surprised me the last 3 years. 2 or 3 years. I mean, granted, next year, like you said, we're going to lose people. They're going to have to do some restructuring or something.
The problem is the restructuring is on Ben and Ben's old. He's not going to get any better at this point. He might be able to carry you again. He might be able to even make you a playoff team again, but eventually he's going to fall apart.
Yeah. I mean, his time is over. I mean, I'd say we have him for maybe another year. And at that point, I mean, we got a lot of work to do. We've been rebuilding. I mean, we should have been rebuilding, but we haven't been.
Your defense is great.
Yeah, the defense is good.
And the offense should be better than it is. Your running game is terrible, but that receiving core is nasty.
Yeah, Jesus beast.
Yeah. Claypool is, dude, he has shown out this year. He's been nice to watch. So
I couldn't believe Schuster played on Sunday.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he played, and then he got trolled hardcore.
He's a bomb. Yeah, I was not happy about that.
You see the trolling?
I don't like giving a team any reason to be like. I don't like. What did they call it? They call it locker room like board material or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit.
Clemson coach Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah. First off, it was the defensive players doing it.
Yep.
You guys fucking suck. All right.
Yeah.
Our defense is bad to begin with, but then we had our entire secondary out with COVID shit. So you got the practice squad secondary out there. They were getting burnt all day. They made one good play on that 2-point conversion, and there was another pass breakup earlier in the game. But like overall, they were getting pretty shredded on the deep ball.
Right. And
you're gonna go in there and try and do this dude's dance and like throw it in his face.
Right.
And I get he danced on our logo in the end zone, and I get that, but like that ain't the end game. The end game is this upcoming game. You beat him then, dance all you want. Corvette all over the place. But like, don't do that shit before the playoff game.
You got him amped up. He's going to want to come back and show out so then he can dance on your logo again
in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. The thing is Grant, the Browns won, but it wasn't a great game.
No, it wasn't.
It barely won.
Now they're not going to play that bad.
No. But I mean, it's just like the Steelers had nothing to lose. Grant, you should always try and win. We talked about that last week. I think you win, you play out to win regardless, but it was not a great game. Next week's going to be much different because you're going to have fully stocked teams for the most part, on both sides.
We're going to be missing some key people possibly.
We got some people out. You've got some people out, but for the most part, it's going to be better off than this week
because it's Sunday night. There's a chance that if they don't show any symptoms, we will have Denzel Ward back, which would be huge. I don't know if you guys will get back Joe Hayden and Eric Ebron or not, but if you would, I would assume it would probably be because that late night start also. But other than that, it should be pretty straightforward.
You guys are going to have it tough, man. You're in Pittsburgh.
See, that doesn't matter though, because you guys don't have any fans in there.
No, but I just feel like anytime you're traveling, and granted it's not far, but anytime you're not in your home field, it's in Pittsburgh. It's the Pittsburgh versus Browns, man, for the playoff. Like
the game's going to be good.
Come hungrier. Like it's going to be an interesting matchup. It's the final wild card game of the weekend. Like at that point, so that's pretty cool to see.
My one biggest worry, I don't know if it's a worry because it could also be a positive thing, but like. In this game against Pittsburgh, Stefanski seemed like he didn't coach well again. Chubb only had 7 carries in each of the halves, and he started the game off with a 50-yard, home run, and then he didn't get the ball again. I'm hoping that Stefanski was just so confident that they were going to win that game that he was like, you know what, we're going to beat you guys with the basic stuff because we weren't doing a lot of rollouts, we weren't doing a lot of play action, we weren't running the ball. I'm hoping that he was like, I'm just not going to show him anything. We'll win. And then I'll pull out all the stops next week.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't, and we run the ball 15 times.
Right. That's the thing though. You guys were in a different position, different position because you had to win. Yeah. So like taking it easy on his part is not smart.
And it could have just, and that's my worry is if it wasn't that, he just coached poorly, and that's 2 weeks in a row now.
Yeah.
I don't want that going into the playoffs. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. You think he's going to get coach of the year?
that Jets loss is bad, even with the COVID. But Brian Flores didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think so.
You think
he took the Browns to the playoffs for the first time in 18 years in his first year without an offseason? I think he gets it.
When does that get voted on? Because now is that
voting begins now.
Regular season does not matter about playoff wins or anything, just based on regular season.
I think he gets it because so the sexy appeal of turning the Browns around, that's too great of a story for any newspaper or any publication to pass on. There's bad teams, certainly, like the newest cursed team is now the Jets. They haven't been to the playoffs in 10 years. There's a big difference between 10 and 18 years.
Yeah.
That is pretty crazy. It's a weird story. So the Browns were the longest standing. Then it was Buccaneers, and
both broke the streak.
That's crazy. Tom, the Patriots now go the longest or the first time ever and like forever not making the playoffs.
They had like an 18-year division winning streak.
Yeah. And then he goes to the Buccaneers and he breaks their fucking streak. That's crazy.
They are red hot.
Yes,
they can play with any person in the NFC. I still think the Packers, I think, are coming out of that, which I didn't originally predict, but man, they are hot.
You gotta have the biggest head, man. Like Brady just gotta be like, I'm the fucking greatest. I mean, I know everyone thinks he's the greatest, but like he's really got to be like, I'm the fucking greatest.
He's 43 years old.
The Pats fucking shit the bed this year with me gone. The Buccaneers break their fucking no playoff streak the first year I'm here. Like,
Chris, if you know this, don't say anything. Take a guess how many touchdowns the Patriots as a team, all of their quarterbacks threw. Tom Brady is 43 years old and he threw 40. Take a guess how many the Patriots threw.
Fuck if I know. Like how many what is that for?
Cam Newton, backups, Jarrett Stidham, any of those guys. All of the quarterbacks on the team for the entire 16-game season, how many touchdowns do you think that they passed for?
21.
30.
10.
Jesus.
They threw 10 touchdowns this season.
Cam Newton?
Yeah, dude, I've been saying it since the start, dude. Newton, that's a bad. Go back and listen to the episodes. That was a bad signing to bring him to
He ran for quite a few touchdowns, but not nearly enough. 10. He threw for 4 times the touchdowns that the Patriots did, and he's 43 years old. That man is the GOAT.
I knew he wasn't a great pickup, but 10 touchdowns between the whole team?
The whole team.
Now the argument that I don't support is the one where they go, well, obviously now we know that Brady was the story in New England and it wasn't Belichick. I don't agree with that because Tom Brady inherited a lot more weapons than what Bill Belichick
did. And the Patriots, people forget, had, I believe, 8
they had the most
starters opt out of the season because of COVID.
Yeah.
They definitely would not have been a 7-9 team. I don't know if they win 11 games with it, though. They're definitely not winning the division over the Bills.
No, Buffalo's hot.
But that being said, I still think it puts some doubt on Bill. Bill, in my mind, before he's the greatest coach of all time. They're a tandem. They go together.
Who's better than Bill?
No, I'm saying, I think he's top 3. But I think there's an argument now still for Paul Brown and Vince Lombardi. I think both of them are better. Now, if he wins another Super Bowl, maybe, or if he goes back to his winning ways and maybe he doesn't win a Super Bowl, but he's in the playoffs consistently and he finishes out his career that way, fine. But if he throws out 2 more dud years and then retires, he wasn't a GOAT. He just had the best player of all time on his team.
But he's got to get help, though. That's the thing. Like, so if you put Paul Brown and Vince Lombardi with this lineup, they wouldn't make them winners either.
Oh, I think so.
No way.
I think so. No, Vince Lombardi for sure.
Dude, look at Paul Brown's lineups. You're talking some of the best teams of all time.
That's true.
Look at the Packers of the 60s.
He also came from the AFC or the AFL, which was the baby brother league. That'd be like him coming from the Canadian Football League now and instantly winning a championship. I mean, he came up against the greatest people in the league. And granted, it wasn't as athletic back then and all that other stuff, but I mean, he made some stuff happen. And that was also because he was advanced in what he was doing. He got Leroy Kelly and Marion Motley and all of those guys when the rest of the league wasn't wanting black people on their teams. He said, hey, I'm going to take the guys that win. That's coaching.
But I'm going to make your LeBron argument now against you now. Okay. So here we go. You're now playing in an era where the defenses are tougher. The play is more physical, all of that than it was during Paul Brown and Vince Lombardi's days. Now, like the athleticism's spectacular. So you have to play against that with the weapons you're given in Bill Belichick's case.
That is true. But Paul Brown was innovative in the way that the league still sometimes happens. But Paul Brown was the one who went out there and put the face masks on them. You know, he face masks are because of Paul Brown.
He was innovative with the greatest running back of all time. He was innovative with Otto Graham.
But he was also one of the throwers. Otto Graham's a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He threw the ball downfield when other teams were not. The reason we have orange helmets is because they showed up on the field and he knew that they'd be able to see the receivers better downfield. Mm-hmm. That is incredible innovation in coaching. He created the game.
You're not doing that today, though, is my point.
No, but you're
not, with the unions and all that shit, you're not making rules.
Sure, but you can still innovate the game today. We still see the Wildcat, the spread, like something new comes out all the time. And Bill is usually at the forefront of those things. He takes what works from other people and he implements it and makes it better. He was running Wildcat for a while here and there. He didn't make it his main offense like the Dolphins and screw up and do all that other stuff. But he was able to take things that worked and implemented them. The 2 tight end system that everybody sees, the elite tight end, that's Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I agree.
And just because it doesn't have a crazy name like the West Coast offense or anything like that, Bill is the one who he should be able to find a way to say, all right, Cam, you're really mobile. I see what they're doing down in Baltimore. I'm going to implement some of that and we're going to change it. And he didn't change with the times. He said, go out there and play his offense and didn't work.
Mark my words. If Art Modell didn't kill the spirit of that team, Belichick would have gotten them a ring.
100%.
Mark my words.
I don't disagree.
Maybe not in 95, but like within that 3-year span between 95 to 97.
Bill has 2 rings without Tom Brady.
Yeah.
As a defensive coordinator, but he's got 2 rings.
Yep.
And people also forget that. And I'm not taking anything away from him.
Great too.
I'm not taking anything away from him, but I believe that there's wiggle room now to say he's top 3 instead of a for sure absolute 1. There are very few things, few players, coaches, whatever in the NFL that I can say are for sure the greatest. And that is Tom Brady at quarterback, Jerry Rice at wide receiver,
Agreed,
and Jim Brown at running back. And a lot of people get pissed about that.
No, I agree.
I think the greatest coach of all time was
don't even say it.
Rod Marinelli.
I don't know who that is.
The Detroit Lions coach.
That 0-16.
Awful fucking. Remember they were awful forever?
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson.
They're still awful. I mean,
I know, but like they were like just forever. He was a terrible coach.
And Hugh Jackson is the worst coach of all time, and that's another easy definitive that I can.
He's
say.
up there for sure. Yeah, he's definitely one of the worst.
But
Belichick, I kind of agree with Jesse to an extent. Like, I mean, he's a fantastic coach, but it's just crazy to see how quickly things turn. Like, he doesn't have an awful team.
He doesn't have a good team,
and you just kind of look to wonder, okay, what's going on? You know, he needs more than one season for us to determine that, though. Like, I don't give him one season and say he's out. Like, we'll see what he does next year, what they plan going forward.
Minus the mandatory rule, there is not a Pro Bowler on that team anywhere.
Nope. And I think that Gilmore opted out, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then there's not.
There's this shit, dude. Is like, oh, here you go, win.
He had a lot of cap space to work with. He does going into next year as well. I think that he will rebuild the team and make them good. I do not think they will contend anymore with the Bills. And I think that a great coach finds a way. There are some coaches that no matter where they are, they make it. Andy Reid is a perfect example. He succeeded greatly with Alex Smith. He succeeded greatly with Michael Vick. He succeeded greatly with Patrick Mahomes.
He had some bad Philly years.
But to that point,
but he also had some great Philly years. And he was with McNabb too, wasn't he?
He was.
Took him to the Super Bowl. Vick and them, they were great. That was one of the greatest offenses that ever touched a field. He went out to Kansas City with a game managing quarterback in Alex Smith, and they were contenders and winning 11 games. And that team was terrible before he got there. And then he got probably the greatest quarterback of all time.
I think that's what put it over. I think that's what put it over personally. Reed's good. Don't get me wrong, but
I don't think that Reed is I don't think he's in a top 5 conversation.
Yeah.
But I think that he is I think he is the best. He's the best coach of all time in terms of putting his players in the best position to win. He does not have a scheme. He will look at it and go, "Oh, you can run. We're going to run." He could do with Lamar Jackson what they're doing in Baltimore right now if they switched right now.
I think so. Yeah, fair enough.
And he can do that with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar threw pretty well this weekend.
He threw for 108 yards. 108 yards.
I'll tell you what, though, they're white hot. I don't want to play the Ravens. 404
rushing. I didn't want to play Ravens either.
Yeah.
Our defense just can't keep up with them. That's all that it is. We can score. I mean, we kept up with them that entire game, but when it comes down to it, if they get the ball last, it's over.
That's all he had though was 108
yards.
I didn't watch the full game.
Three touchdowns.
Clips, and I'm like, man, he's throwing pretty well. Like
3 touchdowns. First off, it's the Bengals.
Cincinnati. Yeah, they didn't need to throw.
It's the Bengals.
They've had some upsets.
Yeah,
you guys lost
one.
To the Bengals.
One I can
We
think
didn't
of.
lose to the Bengals. You lost to the Bengals, motherfucker. You lost to the Bengals without Burrow.
We lost to somebody else.
Even we beat the Bengals.
Yeah.
We beat the Bengals with Burrow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think in terms of Browns Steelers? And then I got a couple of accolades for the end of the year that I want to predict.
I honestly think it goes anyway. Either way. I don't have a definitive. I'm not going into the game saying Steelers are going to whoop their ass because I honestly think it could go either way. It's going to depend on Baker coming out level-headed, being in the game, not coming in cocky, playing his players, playing how he's been playing.
Yeah.
You know, he's been aggressive in himself. Like he had some good runs, like rushes himself this past week.
1 interception in the last 8 games.
Right. Which is fantastic because I mean, I was getting him shit for a while there. He was just throwing interceptions. Like
he had
crazy.
about a 3-game
like
stretch that was
doing.
bad.
Yeah. Which Ben cannot do because Ben has been throwing awful. Yep. So look at the Steelers. I mean, we went from being 11-0 to where we're at. We fucking flubbed the end of the season.
4 out of 5.
If Ben can get himself in a position that he's throwing great, we can be in an okay spot. If the Browns can hold it together and play like they've played all year, with exception to this last game, it's going to be close, man. Do you guys have score predictions? I honestly don't know.
One.
I don't have one just because I don't know who's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I want to hope I want the Steelers to win. So I'm going to say 31.
Don't take mine.
31-27 Steelers. Is that what you're going to say?
Get the fuck out, dude. Seriously.
31-27.
So
Steelers. Are you saying Steelers or Browns?
I'm saying Steelers.
Okay.
Here's my prediction too. For the Browns to win, their defense has to step up.
Absolutely.
This has to be a defensive effort win.
Yep.
You know, Baker's great. He can only take you so far in the playoffs, though. Like they need that defense to finally mature and to finally wake up. If the Steelers are going to win, we need to see shades of old Roethlisberger to where, like, you know, he can exploit that defense and he can pick out the holes in them like the old Roethlisberger could do piece by piece.
See, what he did to come back in the last game was that after that halftime, he came back like different. You know, like he realized, like, I got to fucking step it up. I'm gonna have to take this on my own. He waited in the pocket more. Not the Browns, the week prior. Obviously, he didn't play last week. The Colts. You know, like I feel like he can turn that switch. It's postseason. He knows he's got to show up. He hasn't played great.
Yeah,
I can see him turning that on because I agree. Like he has to show up this week.
And I think if there's one game that Ben hates losing, that he would absolutely hate to lose
versus the Browns,
it's this
in
one.
The postseason.
He wouldn't mind if he lost by 41 to the Bills the next week.
Yeah.
He just does not want to lose to Cleveland. I think it's going to be a close game. I actually think Cleveland's going to have the lead until the final drive of the game, and I think Ben's going to lead him down.
I see us coming back. I see us coming back second half.
I will not be on the show next week if that happens.
Yeah,
I will not.
I see us coming back second half. He seems to capitalize under pressure. The one thing that not even just the Steelers, but the one benefit that Pittsburgh has and that Ben has is their season and postseason. This is Baker's first postseason. That's a lot of pressure, inexperience. It's the first postseason for the team. There's just a lot of pressure that comes with that, and just having the confidence, remaining calm, and knowing what to do, and for Stefanski to come in and coach appropriately.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think Browns are going to lead it, and I think we're going to come back end of the game and take it. Jesse?
ESPN is projecting the score to be a 25-21 victory for the Steelers. Over under 4.5, and the point spread is 46.5.
Okay.
I think that
are you going with what I said? Same thing. Okay, I want to just put these in.
I think it's going to be way less than that. I don't think it's going to be a shootout. I'm going to say Browns win it 24-17.
Okay.
And it's not because I think that I think that we have playmakers on our defense that can make a difference where they weren't able to before. I think that Miles is, he's due to make a play.
Need Ward
Denzel
back.
Ward is going to be back, so that over the top stuff is not going to be there. Ronnie Harrison will be back.
Right.
They're saying Greedy Williams might even be able to be coming back. I don't think that's going to happen, but if he did, that would be huge.
He was out just because he was like sick, right?
He's got nerve damage.
Yeah,
he's been out all year.
He supposedly told someone that he was going to be back.
Right. And there's nothing official on that, so I don't know how legitimate it is. But
do you want him back in the most important game of the year? Like, I mean,
he's injured with nerve damage. He's better than Kevin Johnson.
Yeah.
But I think that they're going to be division games are always tighter. They're always tougher.
Yeah.
Example A being that we only beat you by 2 points with backups on, our defense and most of your main key starters. But I think that your offense has been terrible for 5 out of the last 6 weeks.
Yep.
I don't think that they can just flip a switch, because if they did, they'd have taken that 2 seed.
Yeah. I'm hoping that Ben sitting out this game, staying home, relaxing, maybe doing some therapy or something, because he's got to be injured. Something.
No, they definitely are resting
too.
Yeah, so I think the resting is definitely going to be beneficial.
Sure.
To him.
But all year he hasn't thrown a deep ball, even when he was healthy at the beginning. I don't think you guys can run the ball. Yeah. I think that if we get up, you're going to have to pass, and that's when you can unleash Myles Garrett. It's huge that we lost Olivier Vernon.
Yeah.
But we have guys like Adrian Claiborne, who I think can fill in for a 4-game stretch. That's all. That's what you got to look at it is I got to be my best for 4 games. And I don't think we're going to the Super Bowl, but that's the mentality that these guys have. They're talking about Super Bowl. Okay, that's your mentality. Go out there and you're going to be your best for 4 games. It doesn't matter what hurts. You're going to be your best. I think that we want it more.
I do agree with that.
I think that you guys are used to winning. I think that it's a disappointing season. I don't necessarily think that they're going into this expecting for a Super Bowl, even if they say that they are. They know they're on a downswing and that things aren't going their way.
Right.
We see it as an opportunity. We're going to go out and smash them. They embarrassed us the first week. We kind of got embarrassed yesterday, even though we won. We're going to go out and we're going to smash them and show them what we can do. I don't know for sure if we win, but I think it's going to be close. I think we're going to win. And I think it could be a similar situation where we get the ball last, but Baker thrives under pressure. That dude is insane under the lights.
I feel like Garrett's been a little bit underwhelming to me.
He's been having the same shit that I have. Like he's got all the breathing issues and stuff that came after the COVID.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because he hasn't seemed to really been anything super exciting. Like
he had about 3 or 4 good pressures at the beginning of that game yesterday, and he just disappeared.
Yeah, that was it. You didn't hear about it.
And I think with so in the Browns case, Garrett's obviously the best player on their defense. So like if they can zero him out and make everybody else try to beat them, I think that's what teams are going to take 9 times out of 10.
100%. That's how you got to beat them.
Yeah, like box out Garrett and deal with the rest of them, whatever you got to do.
And our defense is so bad. Even our defense was supposed to be bad before all the injuries, before Greedy Williams went down, before we lost all of our linebackers, before all this other stuff. So our defense is terrible, but our offense can be the best in the league when they are hitting right, and they're definitely top 5.
The offense definitely carried them here. For sure.
The thing now is you got to unleash Chubb. That dude needs to be touching the ball 25 times, and then play off of that bootleg, that deep play action pass that Baker thrives under. He's the best in the league under play action. Utilize it. Go out there, use your trick plays, throw everything out on the line. You can worry about whoever comes next later. I don't care. You can't lose this game. First time going back to the playoffs in this long, with the way Cleveland is right now, to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You got to win this game.
I looked it up last night. StubHub is selling tickets. The cheapest ticket they have is $600.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I'd pay that.
Yeah, I was looking at them and I'm like, I wanted to see what the most expensive was. Like they go up all the way to $1,200, and
I would have liked to have gone this Sunday. I didn't even think about looking to see what tickets went for.
Yeah, 600 is the cheapest.
Yeah, it's postseason. I bet you probably could have got tickets for like $100 or so to this last game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, to this one. Yeah,
the one that was just yesterday.
Yeah, for sure.
What excuses are we going to hear when you guys lose? Are we going to have any COVID excuses? Are we going to blame it on players being out?
Depends on if people get out because of COVID.
What are we going to say?
I mean, if Baker goes down for COVID before,
lock them down like bubble style, man. They are not going anywhere this week.
And that's the other thing I said. If you don't have a wife or a girlfriend that lives with you, if you don't have any kids, there better not be no baby mamas or buddies going over to your house. Your ass better be in the apartment or in the training facility this week. You fuck this shit up and get COVID around the place during the playoffs and we have a chance, I will be fucking executing somebody.
Yeah, man. I'm curious to see I think it just comes down to how does each team play this week? You know, like we can't.
Well, that's all ultimately what it is. Our defense has to show up a little bit to help the offense, and your offense has to show up a little bit to support the defense. And if neither one does, either way it could go. If your offense doesn't show up, we're going to destroy you.
Yeah.
And the same thing could happen with us.
It's a tale of two inconsistent teams.
Right.
Yep.
Just so odd. What else? Do we have anything else for sports?
One last thing. So the season ends. Season's over.
Yep.
All accolades are season awards. It doesn't matter what anybody does in the playoffs.
Okay.
MVP, Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. What do you guys think?
MVP, Mahomes.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying like, so it's come down to basically Rodgers and Mahomes is what they've said.
Yeah, I can see that.
And for me, like a lot of the analysts are saying Rodgers, and I just don't see it. To me, if you take Mahomes out, we saw what happened yesterday. Like if you take Mahomes out of that offense, they are mediocre at best.
It's like removing LeBron, man.
Yeah.
What do you think for that one?
Derrick Henry.
You know what?
Wow, okay.
That's not a bad.
Yeah.
I like that pick too. Like 2,000 yards. I mean,
Eighth man to ever do it. That team, you want to talk about taking out Rodgers or Mahomes, you take out Derrick Henry and that team cannot function.
And in
that's fair.
age when you have the split running back system, it's so difficult to get 2,000 yards for any back. Yeah, I don't hate that pick at all.
You think that's realistic? He could win it?
No, I think Rodgers is going to win.
Yeah.
Dude's quarterback rating is insane,
Yeah.
and I don't think they want to give it to Mahomes just because they don't repeat MVPs very often.
Yeah. I think Rodgers will get it. Mahomes is my pick.
Yeah.
Henry's my pick. I think Rodgers will win. I think when it comes down to it, it will be Rodgers, Henry, Mahomes on the actual voting.
Yeah.
Okay. Coach of the Year.
You got mine.
I think Stefan. I mean,
I do too.
Stefanski's earned it. Like we talked about. Browns haven't gone in 18 years, whatever it might be, 17 years. He's done phenomenal with this team because the thing is, the only thing that changed this year was him.
Yeah.
They had the same talent the last 2 years.
Yeah, we didn't add much.
I'm tired of hearing the Bruce Arians talk. I'm like, dude, you've got a lineup of murderers row on the Buccaneers. I'm like,
and the GOAT. You added the GOAT.
I don't want to hear it like that. That's me. So if Stefanski inherited Tom Brady, then you'd have a different argument. But yeah, I know. I just gave him a chubby.
Just went to 6 to midnight.
Who would you even put up against? Stefanski this year. To me, it's far and away.
Yeah, Brian Flores was the one people talked about, but they're not in the playoffs now, so that you just can't give it to them.
Yeah,
they floundered against the Bills big time. So Stefanski's my pick. That was the only person I was worried about. I don't think they can go with somebody like Andy Reid, even though they went 15-1. Like it's just it's just not the coaching, man.
Offensive killers, dude. I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
I think Stefanski's a realistic and fair vote. I think it was going to be between him and Tomlin had the Steelers not choked. And I think well deserved for Stefanski. I like him.
Yeah.
Like I
think he's good for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Defensive Player of the Year.
This one I'm kind of I'm kind of having trouble on.
I'm giving it to Watt
because I've studied Donald and I've studied Garrett and I've studied a couple of other guys in my head.
Damn, you didn't know Watt even in the conversation for you.
No, I don't think so. Not this year.
It's not Garrett.
I'm not going to go with my prediction. I'm just going to go with what I think they're going to do, and that's Donald.
Okay. You think he gets it again?
I think so.
I think that would put him at 3.
Yeah. They love Aaron Donald, dude. And look, we've played him twice. The Cowboys have, and I've seen it.
Oh, he's insane.
I think he's really good. I think though hype might be a little strong with him. Like it's good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he determines a game.
No, the defense as a whole is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was saying Miles for a long time. This COVID fucked him up. He had it in the bag, and then he missed 2 games, and he hasn't been the same since. He's only got like 1 sack since he came back from COVID.
Right.
I think they're going to give it to TJ. I think the only other person in the conversation, Donald obviously is in there. I don't think he's going to get it, but I think that Xavier Howard for Miami might be in the conversation. He has 10 interceptions on the year.
I didn't think about that.
And that defense was stellar this year. But I think they'll probably give it to TJ. He hasn't gotten it yet.
Do you think though that
I'd love to hear that? I just love it. Well, when I said it, he gave me this awful look. Like, are you fucking kidding? He's not going to get it. I didn't think that he was going to.
He shouldn't get it. Miles should get it, but
I like you said, had COVID not played a part, I think it was a given that it was going to be
because he only has 3 more sacks than Miles, and he played 2 more games, and he's healthy. Like, It's just can't be compared.
Here's my question though. Does the committee that votes on these things, do you think they look at a game like yesterday where Buffalo beat them, what was it, 56-23? And like, do they think they go like
Diggs went off like crazy?
Jesus, like, I don't know if we can give this kid this, trophy, even with this one game.
If it's close, I think it does.
Okay.
I think that if Miles didn't get sick and he had 19 sacks, and in the last game against the backups in the Pittsburgh, he didn't do anything and he registered no tackles or anything, I don't think they would be like, well, we can't give it to him. But like, if it was between him and Watt and they both went off and, Miles didn't do anything, but TJ finished with 2 sacks, they would do that then. Yeah, I think so.
Interesting.
There's always recency bias, even if you don't think that, even if you don't try to.
Interesting.
Last one, Rookie of the Year. And there's some good rookies this year.
I'll let Chris start on that one.
Let me start. I gotta think of all the
I gotta think.
So I'll give you the top guys that I can think of.
I know Tua's up there, and
Tua would be one. Justin Herbert would be the other for quarterback.
I have not liked Justin Herbert.
Antonio Gibson for Washington.
Yeah.
James Robinson for the Jaguars.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick.
Chase Claypool.
I don't think he's done enough.
Justin Jefferson.
You don't think Claypool's done enough?
I don't think so, because there's games where he's very splotchy. So there's games where he goes off and he's definitely the best receiver in the game, but then there's games we don't hear from him.
Yeah, but I agree with that to an extent, but also it's dependent upon if they're going to they throw him the ball or not.
Oh, sure,
his control.
But but you can't give a guy if he's not getting opportunities. That could go to anybody.
Who are you talking about?
Claypool.
Oh,
I like Claypool for a pick.
Notre Dame guys. I love him.
He showed up, man, this year. Like,
he's not going to get it.
I don't realistically, no, probably not. I don't
he came on too late.
Did enough.
He didn't do enough.
But I do like him as an option.
Name some killers in that
I would
list.
say that's a lot of good.
Jeffrey set the record yesterday, like that rookie receiving record.
Yeah, that's tough. What do you think, Jesse?
It's between Herbert and Jefferson.
Yeah. Oh, Jefferson. That's what I meant.
Herbert also broke the rookie touchdown record. Took him 16 games. Let's not forget Baker did it in 13. But he broke the record. He's 6th in the league in passing yards, 10th in the league in touchdowns as a rookie. I think there's an argument to be made there. I think they will give it to Justin Jefferson because he broke Randy Moss's record.
Yeah.
And the dude is insane. He's one of the top receivers in the league, and that is a much deeper pool than quarterback. But
Jefferson or Brown,
I wouldn't be shocked if Jefferson or if Herbert got it.
Yeah,
I'll go Jefferson.
I want James Robinson to win it just because he's undrafted and he did all of this incredible stuff.
Sure.
And he was a beast in fantasy for me. I love that.
The Jags boy too, man. My second favorite team.
But no, Jefferson I think is going to win it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Speaking of the Jags,
Urban
Meyer.
Oh fuck! I forgot I even put that on the list.
Urban Meyer. So you realistically think he's got an chance?
Yeah. Go ahead. You're the sports guy.
I didn't think it was real.
Yeah.
The original report I saw came from like a fucking NFL memes or something where that shit. There's rumors that are put out all the time that aren't real.
Yeah.
Nothing came from Schefter. Nothing came from Rappaport, and it won't go away. It's on Bleacher Report. It's on ESPN, and it's not coming from these big guys, but it's coming from notable sources. And now they've put a number to it where it's not just rumors anymore. Now they're saying, well, he wants $12 million a year to be with the Jags. He was at the Buckeyes Clemson game, and people were going, oh, well, that's his old team. Like, of course he's going to go and support him. I think he was there scouting, and he was deciding, am I taking my Buckeye boy Fields or am I taking Lawrence?
Yeah.
Why are the Jags recruiting him, or is the reason he would want to go to the Jaguars?
Well, the reason that he would want to go to the Jaguars is because they have an incredible amount of cap space in the first overall pick. But aside from that, I believe they have an extra pick in the first round too.
Yes.
So they are set up for future success. Their team has a lot of good pieces on it. It's not good, obviously.
The defense is so bad.
But they've got DJ Chark at receiver. Yeah. They've got James Robinson now, who is your running back of the future. You're going to have Trevor Lawrence. And then you can pick up all the defensive players that you want with your defense. I could see them going back to being how they were a couple of years ago, where they just make a huge run and 17. Become good all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Maybe they flounder after that, but I don't know. I didn't really think he was ever going to come back, just because he said it was for health issues.
Yeah.
why would you leave college where you are one of the greatest coaches of all time to possibly squander that in the NFL? Like Saban tarnished his reputation in the NFL. Everybody knows he's the greatest college coach ever, but that dude couldn't hash it in the NFL.
No.
And there's a lot of other guys that went the exact same way. Butch Davis was a great college coach, and then he had to go to therapy because the Browns were so bad.
He owned Miami. I mean, he was the mayor of that.
I don't know why he would do that. You can make more money in college than you can in the NFL. You are a god wherever you are. Like that dude doesn't pay for a meal in Ohio anywhere ever again after he won that championship.
Why do you think Coach K doesn't leave Duke?
Yeah. Jim Tressel has been out of football forever and people clamor to him and think he's a god. Yeah. Like, why would you ever risk that, especially on a team like Jacksonville? I would much rather go to a team. I mean, there's 6 teams right now that don't have coaches. I'd rather go to San Diego, where you got a solid quarterback that you know is good. You can build around him, and you're on the beach whenever you're not. Like, I don't know, but I wouldn't be shocked, I guess.
But that's why he wants $12 million. He's going to Jacksonville.
That's true.
Like you don't go to Jacksonville and ask for $5 million. You go to Jacksonville and exploit them for everything they're worth. Because this might be 2 or 3 humiliating years on your record, on your resume, everything.
And they'll pay.
Yeah, and they'll pay for it because they're looking for any kind of prayer right now. Yep. They were, 3 years ago, as you mentioned, they were 2 wins away from winning the whole thing. Yep. And it fell apart fast. The defense fell apart faster.
And that defense was elite.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey,
2 of the best corners in the entire NFL.
Yep.
AJ Bouye, who hasn't done anything since, but he was incredible while he was there. They had Calais Campbell. They had a crazy pass rush.
Didn't have a quarterback though.
Did not have a quarterback. Who was their quarterback?
Bortles. Yep.
Blake Bortles
in the AFC Championship.
Look,
do you remember that receiving core?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Allen Robinson. Fucking. Who else was down there? They had a ton. They had 3 guys that were staples, but Allen Robinson was the main one. He was insane.
I had my Jags jersey on the day they lost to the Patriots.
Yep. And they almost beat the Patriots.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was going to say, to me, it's crazy that you can make $12 million go coach a football team.
I mean, you can ask for it.
Well, but I mean, like you said, though, I think that if anything, for the name alone, I think they'd be willing to pay it. They need someone. So. There's a desperation. They've got the money. That's wild.
Aren't they the ones with the pool in the stadium now?
That sounds like
yes.
I believe they are.
Yes. Yeah. What? I thought Tampa had one too.
I know Tampa has the ship. I don't think but yeah.
There's a pool, as fans you can hang out
and watch. It's a big ass pool.
Same thing with the Diamondback Stadium.
It's nice.
I'm trying to be a Jags fan.
It's nice. No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
I just want to go to their stadium and hang out.
Nobody's there. You're just in the pool.
That's fine.
By yourself.
Quick story. I used to go to my sister's house every summer in Arizona, spend my summers there. And the Arizona Diamondback Stadium's about 20 minutes away from her house.
Yeah.
So one time her husband, he surprised us all, me, him, his 2 kids. So we go down there and we're, walking all the way around the stadium. I'm like, why did this park right by this gate? If we're going to the outfield, we should park over there.
Right.
So then we're going out there and then he takes us down the stairs and all this and all of a sudden right over this bullpen wall you see this pool here, and I knew it was there. I've seen games there before, but yeah, he's like, all right guys, these are our seats for the day. They got that. They've got lawn chairs set out right outside of the pool there. Dude, we watched the game on lawn chairs. We were in the pool. Kind of awkward because there's a bunch of people watching you too at the same instance.
Yeah.
But it was cool. It was one of those rare experiences.
I don't give a shit, man. You set me up with a pool, watching a football game or a baseball game with some fucking food and beers, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Why don't we have anything? Why do we live in Ohio?
Because
bro, why don't you have a pool? We could all be over here. It's sunny back there.
We talked about it.
Man.
If you had a dome, you could have a heated pool.
Well, drinking beers in the pool over at Ryan's place.
I know. I talked about it this summer before everything hit the fan because they were crazy cheap. And I was considering it with doing the deck and the patio and everything. It's still up in the air.
In ground.
So it would have to be an above ground, but I would do an above ground half in ground. Whoa. So it looks like an above ground or in ground. I don't like in above grounds. I just think they look cheesy.
Yeah.
But when I was really considering it, I was looking at above grounds and people that you dig them down. So it's only halfway above. And then I was going to build a bar type thing around it. So it basically would look like an in-ground pool, but it's just so much cheaper to do above ground.
I'd never leave.
Dude, I know. I really want to. We got that huge space back there.
Fill it.
I know, man. I really, really want to do
You got
one.
the fence already? You're already set there?
It's on the radar for potentially this summer. I would really enjoy having.
So we'll get it in like 3 summers.
Hey, you want to start a GoFundMe or like a Venmo challenge for the
I'll start one.
Made to Motivate.
You make it in ground and I'll make a GoFundMe.
Let's do it.
Dude, just charge for
admissions.
Yeah, man. First party.
Post-COVID party.
How much does an in-ground pool cost?
Bro, like 15,000-20,000.
Okay. I thought it would be at like 13 to 15.
Yeah, it's like 15 to 20,000 where you can do an in-ground or an above ground with everything you need.
Oh yeah.
They come install it, set it up and everything for like 4,000 or 5,000.
Yeah. I knew it was way cheaper.
You know, I would do the price.
Is that just the digging? Is that all the cost is? Oh.
So you got to think they got to dig that giant hole. They got to do the concrete. They line it. They tile it.
Yeah.
You got to have all the pumps and stuff inside of it.
We could do that shit. We built a deck.
I know. Dude, I've considered it. I really do want to do one. I really would. I've wanted a pool for a long time.
I've wanted a friend with a pool for a long time.
Sure you have, asshole.
That's what they always say, man. Don't get a pool, get a friend with a pool. Don't get a boat, get a friend with a boat.
I know, and I miss that's the one thing I miss. Not the one thing I miss, but one of the things I mainly miss about like before friends owned houses and everyone lived in apartments is everyone had a fucking access to a pool.
Yeah.
But anybody's friend's house any weekend and they lived in an apartment complex that had a pool.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was the greatest thing ever.
Summer nights, man, in that pool.
Yes,
Jesus.
man. Those were the best summers. Yeah, so maybe I'd like it. I gotta do some planning back there, but we'll see. Anything else for sports? Cowboys, nothing too exciting this year. Nothing really to talk about.
The 10th draft pick and the 11th.
Yeah. Woo! You guys will be in the Super Bowl next year.
Yeah.
What's that leave us with? Hollywood Report?
Yeah, smart ass Hollywood Report.
Hollywood.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure? Stay calm! Wait. Everybody, calm down. Two teams assemble!
Made to Motivate Hollywood. Hey, real quick, before we get into our super exciting Hollywood Report.
I don't know why this won't turn off.
I meant to ask you in locker room talk, Jesse, how you're going to spend your $275 you earned from fantasy football.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I ended up getting 300 because I got a bonus on my
225
being the highest score. It was 250 because somebody backed out. So all right, so real quick,
it's got at least 20 coming from me.
I did not. So my math was definitely wrong.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing math. In my head, I'm just repeating what my buddy told me. So originally,
so it's on his. So
no, he didn't do the math wrong either. He just told me 2 different things because originally I was supposed to get 275, but then we forgot that one of the guys who we kicked out of the league demanded his money back. So that was 25 taken from each of us, which is where I got my 250.
Okay.
And then after that, I got a $50 bonus for being the high score team, which I didn't know. So then that
I am not a
got me
math
to
teacher.
300. But I do teach logic and reason.
$300 is legit though.
Yeah, it was good.
Hell yeah.
So I'm in another league with him now that we just started up, and he was like, yeah, you want to be another one? I was like, yeah, sure. Then they were like, yeah, so we got to decide if we're going to do $150, $200, or $250 buy-in. And I was like, what the
Jesus,
fuck? Like,
man.
Hard pass.
Yeah, man, I don't know about paying that much. I didn't know it was this serious. So
no.
I'll go 20 for fantasy football. I'm not going to put it.
I'll go 50, but that's about I've done 100, I think, once, and that was a stretch.
Yeah, I ain't spending $100 to play in. I think there's too many out there you can get in for cheaper. And
Also, I won the first overall pick of my keeper league because the Browns won. So I have 3 picks in a 6-man league in the first round.
Jesus.
Needless to say, I won.
Christopher, what is up with the world of Hollywood?
Well, biggest news coming out of DC after, Wonder Woman kind of floundered a little bit is all eyes ahead to the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's newest adaptation of the popular comic series, and it has been given the cherished R rating.
I love it.
That's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Did it flounder? Like even with COVID standards?
I just mean like by grading scale.
Okay.
No. It made a lot of money. It's worth. I'm just saying the reputable reputation. Like it floundered. Yeah,
like all of DC's movies.
Most of them for sure. Hey, Shazam!
Shazam is fantastic.
I still haven't watched Wonder Woman yet.
But James Gunn has said this is going to be the grittiest film in the DCU. He said it's going to be the most violent film in the DCU. He actually compared it, quoted, as saying this will be DCU's Deadpool.
Hell yeah.
Dope. What else is James Gunn do? He's Galaxy, right?
He is Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah. The visuals look very good from what I've seen as far as, photography on set. The cast is outstanding. They've already confirmed that John Cena's character, I can't remember the name, but he's getting his own movie.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
So it's going to be, they must be focusing on him a lot too.
I don't trust that he can act.
I like John Cena as a wrestler, but I don't like John Cena as a big enough role in Suicide Squad that he's going to have his own movie.
What's his character?
It's a weird name. I can't remember what it's called.
It's not the Invisible Man.
If I find it, you can't see me. It's like, it's something like don't quote. It's not this, but it's like the cock knocker or something like that. It's
cock knocker.
Something weird. Like it's something like that.
Jesus,
that's odd.
So, but yeah, that's the big news coming out of that.
I thought Star-Lord was the cock knocker now.
Yeah. So what's the deal with that? Did we ever talk about that on the show?
No, we didn't.
So apparently his character's bisexual.
Yeah, in the comics.
So they're like rolling that out in the movies?
No, no word in the movies yet, just the comics.
Okay.
But
did Chris Pratt have anything to say about that?
I don't think so.
I heard he's like super anti-gay.
He's
so I don't know.
Is he?
Yeah,
I guess
that's what kind of earned him a lot of.
Because he's like super religious. I think he's like one of those extreme religious people.
Oh,
he got a bad word of mouth this past summer. So like,
yeah, I heard his name a little bit like being run through the mud. But I don't really look into that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Second story, Cobra Kai season 3.
Fuck yeah.
Did you watch it?
So I just started it today. I'm in 2 episodes. It's so good. I considered canceling tonight to keep watching it. It's that good.
Damn.
Wow.
I love it, man. It's so
good.
good. I'm like watching it. I'm like, this was on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Ryan, I know you finished it because I finished it one day.
I finished it in one sitting.
Okay.
Maybe Sunday or I don't know. I finished it in one sitting though. Like I told you, I had been putting off turning it on because I knew once I did, I would not be able to turn it off.
Yeah.
Was what got into that first episode, and I just, man, it was good.
For the record, I mean episode 1 and 2 of season 1.
Yeah, I won't spoil anything.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so don't spoil anything.
Oh, Jesus. I thought you meant 1 and episode.
I just started
3.
Cobra Kai for the first time today.
Jesse?
I can tiptoe around.
So no spoilers, but I kind of felt like 3 was like a rerun of 2 in the storyline-ish, like the same climatic structure and arcs as season 2.
Yeah.
Did not take away from it being excellent.
No.
Like, I mean, cameos and stuff were great. I'm not going to tell anybody and saying give it away, but I mean, great cameos. The flashbacks and stuff are cool, but that's reminiscent of all 3 of them. But like, I don't know where I put it. Where would you rank it amongst the 3? I don't put it as my favorite. But I don't know. Like, I felt like all of season 3 was an extension of the finale of 2. And that was like the whole season. Like they couldn't get past that, and I feel like, I know they had to finish that, but I don't know, where do they take the story next? Because there was so much built into that, you know.
And they've already said they've been signed for 6 seasons, so this is going to go another 3 seasons.
Yeah,
that's dope.
To me, so my buddy Chris in our tournament was asking me the other day. He goes, "So did you watch it all?" I go, "Yeah, I sat down one show and got it done on Saturday, or Friday rather." And he goes, "So what'd you think?" I was like, first of all, loved it. Loved the series as a whole. I think if I'm grading as a whole, I'm giving it a very strong 8 out of 10. Here's the negative to that though. The other 2 seasons are so damn good that this is the weakest season.
That's what I think too.
There's a couple things that make that for me. For one, you named one already. The flashbacks are getting very heavy now, and they're getting to a point where it's getting annoying each time that, the most inconsequential thing, like, oh, I stubbed my toe. Man, I remember when I was 6 and I did that. And they go all the way back. I'm like, I don't need a flashback for fucking everything.
Yeah.
One thing I do like the flashbacks though is a certain villain who is in season 3, and they flesh out his arc, and it is outstanding. This was the best subplot for me the whole season.
I do really enjoy that. I think we were talking about that in the group chat. Like, they did a very good job just character building him, where he's we know the little part from the originals, and then we know the little bit that they've had with him coming back into the series, but they haven't. Like, now they've gone back and told backstory, which was really cool.
They've given him depth. He's not just that 1 degree asshole, you know?
I really like that aspect. I really liked that story because there's parts of his character that you kind of get led to believe are fake about his past, and the seriousness of it and like what he actually went through. And then with season 3, they actually show you it, and it kind of brings it to life. And I thought that was really cool.
And I think one thing that this show does that's better than any other show going right now is that so its characters have a lot of dimension, and not just in their characterization, it's the way they evolve and the way that they, you know, move in and out at one time. Like at one time, you know, a guy will be a good guy, but you know, a couple episodes later, you're thinking completely different of him. Yeah. I love that. I love that unpredictability of this. And to me, you know, there's so much of it's got like a pulp to it as far as personality goes, but it's not cheesy to me. I don't look at it as like the Saved by the Bell reboot or anything like that. Like the show is very serious. You can take it seriously, but at the same time, you can have fun with it too. It knows it's in a karate universe. It even pokes fun at that in the first episode of season 3. Yeah. There's somebody that's interviewed for a news story and they go, wow, I didn't think I had to worry about karate gangs and stuff like that. You know, like we're back in the 80s again. You know, as far as other negatives go that are essential, the last episode for me was a little rough. And I'm just saying in terms of, so the last episode, you finally realize there is a lot of subplots in this season and not all of them work. Like there's some that are fully fleshed out. We talked about the villain already, but then there's some kids where you're like, there's one pivotal turn in that second to last episode where I go like, that happened way too fast. Yeah. And there was no psychology that led to that. And I don't buy it. I don't believe it. So, and where we're left in that last episode, considering there was no payoff as far as, I got to watch my words here. There was no payoff in terms of, thank you.
Wait, I have to take these off. It's still really loud.
Do it for real, because I can't do it without it. There's no payoff in terms of a tournament.
Oh, I agree.
For this season. And they're talking about it all season long. We're good now.
Yeah.
Jesse, you're good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and they talk about it all season long, but there's no payoff in that regard.
Yeah.
And for me, all those subplots finally catch up and you go like, wow, this is a stuffed finale, man. That's good. You know, it keeps the entertainment going, but these are only 30-minute episodes, man.
Yeah.
So you don't always have a lot of time to flesh out 100 different characters at the same time.
Yeah. Have you watched the original Karate Kids?
Oh yeah.
Did you enjoy them?
Wait,
like the original?
I've only seen the first one. I didn't even realize there were sequels.
Oh, there's 3.
There's actually 5,
like 6 or something, but
there's
like
5, yeah.
3 like notable, decent ones of the original.
I've only seen the Karate Kid.
Okay.
So there's the Karate Kid Part 2, the Karate Kid Part 3, the next Karate Kid starring Hilary Swank.
Yeah.
And then I saw the shitty one with
the remake.
Will Smith's kid.
Yeah. So Ralph Macchio, original 3.
Yeah,
are the ones you have seen all those? Or
no, I've only seen the first Karate Kid. I was not aware that there were more.
I'm kind of curious. I'm curious.
Are they even good though? Like, should I see them, or is it one of those things where it's like watch Karate Kid and don't watch the others?
I like them.
I think the first one is the best for sure. And I'm the only person in the world that likes 3 more than 2.
I like it. I like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoyed all 3 of them.
I think 2 is kind of boring, but.
It's definitely the lesser of the 3 by all means, but I think they're worth watching. I'm just kind of curious. I'd like,
do they reference all 3 throughout the?
Yes. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm kind of curious how this story plays out to the current generation who didn't grow up or watch those originals, because there is a lot of fanfare with the flashbacks and stuff to the originals. I wonder how enjoyable the show is to the non-Karate Kid group. You know,
I think I wonder
how much they would enjoy them.
Well, let's ask Jesse. Like,
I'm not a huge Karate Kid fan.
Yeah,
and I think the first 2 episodes are great.
Yeah.
Do you have any trouble following as of this moment?
No. I think Steph's a bigger fan than me, and she didn't want to watch it because her whole idea was that Daniel was going to be like a villain and an asshole, and she was like, the trailer makes him look like a fucking dick, and that's not who he was.
But that's always been everybody's theory, is that he's the asshole.
He's the protagonist. Yeah. He was the bully.
We get to episode 2, and at the end we were like, damn, they did a good job of making me really like both of these guys. So I don't know if it stays that way, but
I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah, so far we like it. And I mean, I remember enough. Like I've probably seen Karate Kid like 5 times in my life, but like I don't have it memorized. It's not one of my favorite movies or anything. So like I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, that did fucking happen.
Right.
And I didn't remember it. So
the whole premise, or like the main premise of the series, is based off the relationship between the 2 main characters, you know, between
I can't even think of the blonde guy's name.
Johnny and
Johnny Lawrence. Yeah.
So, you know, that's where like the premise of the show really originates from, and like that's what they were capitalizing on, I think, bringing the show to light. But So I don't know if you had never, and you only need to have seen the first original to know about that relationship between the two of them. But I'm still curious, like, would you appreciate and understand it as much if you had never saw that, you know, and you've seen that one. So that kind of, you know, that relationship to an extent, but
I just wonder how many people have actually not seen it though. Cause like even me, like I
you didn't see Back to the Future until like 6 months ago,
but I'm the minority. And that's what I'm saying is I missed a lot of classics, but I have not, I didn't miss that. Yeah. I've seen Karate Kid. So I think that's one of the things that like almost everybody has seen.
I think to me, like the show does a good enough job of like, again, holding your hand, I guess, in certain like flashbacks. So I don't think they'll have any trouble, you know, following along if they didn't see those movies. But at the same instance, I think you'll be more invested if you watch those movies.
For sure. I agree. Overall, I thoroughly enjoyed it though. This season was great. I agree with you. It's the least favorite of the three. I'm curious to see where it goes next. I mean,
for sure.
Like you said, they got 3 more seasons. Did you notice did you feel it was any different now that it's a Netflix than YouTube?
As far as production goes, I think it's crisper, like, to be honest. Like I don't like, see, they're not a show that goes for like, you know, special effects or anything that's, you know, razzle dazzle at the screen. For me, I always pay attention to the fighting. And like, that was the one critique I had about season 1 and 2 is that the fighting looked a little too wooden at times. For season 3, it looks a lot better. There's still, I think some of the kid actors are horrible, but like, I think, you know, if they didn't talk, if they just, you know, physically acted, they'd be fine.
There was a lot of, people that were like upset about the removal of the one big character from last year, which I thought is interesting. And they get it right off the rip. Like,
they mentioned
episode 1, they're like, yeah, blah, 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 this is why, or she, whatever. But that was weird. I wonder what went on. I wonder what was going on behind the scenes that they wrote that character out. Like something happened outside of production or in personal life or something that she's not on. There's no other reason, like, just to nix that character, I don't think.
Yeah. And I've tried to like look up stories about it. If it's just like a storyline thing that they took her away just temporarily and now they'll bring her back maybe a couple seasons from now. But yeah, you're right. It seems like it's more off screen. That's kind of the friction.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. I thought that was interesting because a lot of people felt it played such a good part in the whole, like, doesn't matter what you look like type thing. You know, anybody can do this or whatever. And they've eliminated that now. And there's not anybody that fills that void without it. So,
well, speaking of doesn't matter what you look like, I wanted to bring up a question to you guys in terms of, so in movies and in TV shows, Sia, the pop artist, is making a movie, and it's about autism, basically centers around autism and, you know, a young girl's coming of age story into it, starring Maddie Ziegler, the girl that is in all of her music videos. Maddie Ziegler's a dancer through like one of those like Dance Mom shows. Does not have autism herself. So my question to you is, and this kind of gets a bad rep anymore, is that do you think it's acceptable to cast people under false pretenses? So like if you don't have autism, is it cool to, you know, are you cool with them being in that role? Now this goes for everything. I'm talking race. This goes for, you know, sexuality, you know, anything really, blind, deaf. Yeah.
Well, we already know the answer to the race. No, you can't blackface or whiteface somebody, whatever that is. Okay, we already know that. That's a problem.
But we talked about James Bond a couple weeks ago, and I remember we had kind of contrasting views on that.
Well, okay, but I guess I was reading that the wrong way, like casting somebody like a black person to play a white person or a person to play a black person.
I guess a historically black person. So if you cast me to play like Harriet Tubman or something like that. Yeah.
So
what if Idris Elba would have been James Bond, like those rumors?
Right.
Yeah, I got what you're saying. But in this situation, it would be, you're basically saying a regular, have Jesse play an autistic person where he doesn't have autism.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, you gotta, I don't know if is that an offensive thing. I guess it's a matter of finding, can you find someone that with autism that wants to and can accurately depict the role, is able to play the role? If it's about them, then I guess it would be more, it would seem more realistic and relevant if it was someone with actual autism. Is it wrong to not have someone that does it? I don't know.
Does it take away from their opportunity as far as like, well, you could cast a real blind person.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I guess why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So obviously the person that they cast does not have autism.
No, Maddie Ziegler is very much your average every day of the mill teenager.
Yeah. I'm curious.
What's yours? I'll save mine for last.
I mean, I kind of talked about it a little bit with the James Bond thing. I don't care if it's a new character, what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, but if like James Bond was Jamie Bond and this new black female actress was taking James Bond's spot, I have a problem with that because that is a historically white British male. I don't think like I didn't have a problem with the Ariel thing. I can't remember who played her, but they had a black Ariel for Little Mermaid because that's a fictional character. And people were like, well, that's a German character or wherever the fuck Little Mermaid comes from. I don't remember. It's a white country. And I was like, yeah, but it's fucking mermaid, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But isn't James Bond fiction though too?
He is, but he has traditionally been described in that way to the point where it's not like a mythical thing. Like at that point you have 60 years of this character being this thing. I just have a problem with that. Like if it was, I wouldn't want Miles Morales played by somebody after 60 years and I wouldn't want Peter Parker to be changed either. Like I like that they made Miles Morales his own thing. And I like that, whatever.
But we're also talking just the casting though, in terms of.
And when it comes to the casting, I don't have a problem with it because one, you are severely limiting your pool of actors. How many autistic actors are there out there?
Yeah.
Not nearly as many as just your typical actors. And on top of that, just because you're not autistic yourself, I'm assuming that this movie is going to be aiming for a powerful message about what the life of an autistic person is like,
drama,
or what autism, what autistic people can achieve or whatever. I'm sure it's not just a comedy movie and she happens to be autistic. Like,
right.
So with that being the case, like there are some incredibly powerful performances pertaining to mental illness, or not mental illness, but mental disability.
Sean Penn. I am Sam.
I mean, What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Freaking Leonardo DiCaprio.
Great one.
Forrest Gump. Simple Jack.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But like, there are some really, really good.
I feel like I shouldn't even be laughing at that.
Simple Jack.
There's some really good movies though that are powerful, that have that message, and you use outstanding actors to achieve that. And I don't have a problem using a average person to do that if you're going to achieve the means of what you're trying to do, because it's about the message. It's not about being appropriate.
Yeah. I think if you, I mean, look at Peanut Butter Falcon. They did it. They achieved their goal, and the actor definitely was actually autistic or whatever. I think if you can tell the story with a credible person, then by all means give them the opportunity.
Sure.
But I mean, I think ultimately it comes down to who's going to tell the story in the best way because of the message that they're probably going to be trying to deliver, like you said.
Yeah.
So whoever that is, I don't really have an issue with it. I think it'd be one thing if I think with anything, you should still allow casting. Like at this point, it seems like she's just having her friend play the role. Like they're friends and she's like, yeah, you get the job. Whereas they could open it up to the opportunity for someone with autism to try and cast them for the role.
That's where I do have a problem. Yeah, I agree with you, to piggyback on what you said. And to piggyback on what Jesse said, my whole thing is, look, one word describes this career: acting.
Yeah.
It's acting. Acting means make believe. It does not mean a true statement or a true, fact.
Representation.
Yeah. So to me, it's, when we were kids and we're make believing and stuff like that, it's the same thing. It's just you're paid to do it and you're more high skilled at it than I am, dramatically, emphatically, everything.
Yeah.
To me, yeah, I don't have a problem with it, and that's not the popular opinion anymore. But like, I think it's part of this whole cancel culture that is truly toxic for our society anyway. And we've gone on countless episodes about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a problem with it. My only disagreement is if kind of like what you guys said, if it's a black historical figure, not a black fictional character, I'm talking a black historical figure. You can't cast a white woman as Harriet Tubman, and they were going to too, sadly enough.
Jesus.
So you can't do that kind of thing. But if it's a fictional character, I don't really care.
Yeah.
I couldn't care less. Yeah, that's all I had. I just wanted to raise that discussion because it's interesting the lines we're getting to. Like, people are almost intruding on productions anymore.
I think if people knew actors and actresses like personally, they would realize just how far off from their characters they actually are. Because when you look at like Leonardo DiCaprio, we all love him as an actor, but watching all of his movies, you get a perception in your mind of what you believe Leo is like. We've never had a conversation with him. Like, you never see him really much in the media and everything. So like in your mind, you're like, okay, this is what Leo's like. And then he goes up to accept his Oscar and he's talking about plastic in the oceans and everything over all of the other things in the world. And he comes off kind of a little bit out there when it comes to environmental things over anything else.
Yeah.
The dude is no perspective of what real life is like. And he doesn't care so much about the poor people and everything. He cares about the burning forest or whatever. Not saying those aren't things that are important, but he's like over the top about those things.
He's very cause invested.
You would not think that from his movies. And after that, I was like, damn, this dude is a really good actor because he's not somebody that I'd probably like spend time with. And I think that people just like, they think that you're just pulling all these random people to take from other people that are able to do it. But like, I don't know, like, I don't know if there's an autistic actor out there that would be good for this part. And if there's not, you go with the best person for it. And if they do show up and you get a Peter Butter Falcon, fantastic. Make an incredible movie. But you can't just be like, well, we have to get one and pull from the 15 people in your city that'll show up for the acting job. Like, it's just not, it's just not feasible.
And you can't intrude on a director's true vision anyway. That's why they were hired for the project. There's millions of dollars going into this. They don't want to hire the wrong person. If they feel like whoever person A is better than person B, that's who we're going with. It's their project. It's not yours. If you want to put $1 million in on this, you can become a producer and you can voice your fucking opinion too. But like at the end of the day, guys, it's they're the directors. They're in this role. You're not. End of story.
I have that issue with across the board in every aspect, you know, when it comes to business or sports, whatever. Like, I hate the obligatory, like that there has to be an obligation to someone. It should always be whoever's best for the role.
I agree.
Whoever's best for the job, whoever's best for the role, whatever it is. Like, it shouldn't matter race, sex, religion, whatever it is. Like, and the fact that we've been put in a position via laws and just society that we feel like, okay, well, we have to hire. We have to have a minimal amount of African Americans working here.
We've talked, about that.
We've talked about that, and I think the same thing should go for this. Like Jesse said, if you have someone turn out and they're great for it, cool. But otherwise, whoever's going to do the job best and who's going to send the message the way that they view it, then that's who should be given the opportunity to do it. So
Agreed. Well said.
I have 3 good examples of not necessarily from like a mental aspect, but just like acting in general. If you look at 17, your girl, what's her name?
Haley Steinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld's in it.
Oh, Edge of 17. Yeah.
Edge of 17. Yeah. Fantastic movie.
Very good movie.
She ain't 17. She's not in high school.
No. And she ain't the ugly dwarf that they try to make her out to be.
But they do a great job conveying what that's like. They go through the whole high school experience, blah, 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 blah. You look at 8th grade, Bo Burnham's film. He used all child actors.
God, it's so good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Age appropriate. All kids. They're all, 11, 12, 13 years old.
Come with me to see Promising Young Woman. Damn it. He's great in it.
Another great movie. And then you look at Good Boys, I think is what it was called.
Okay, yeah, with the kids.
Didn't see it personally.
I didn't love it.
Know a bunch of people who said that it was not good and the kid actors were not good. But because you wanted to make a movie about little kids being raunchy, you threw a bunch of kids in there that necessarily couldn't handle the comedy that they needed to do on screen, and your movie suffered for it. It's the worst of those 3 movies.
Yeah, and that movie's awkward to me. Like watching these kids say this, it almost feels forced constantly. Like it never feels natural, like it did in Superbad.
Right.
You know?
And Superbad, not high school kids.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, it's very often that you have not of age people playing like high school characters or middle school characters and stuff, and it's like completely relevant that they're not. But as long as they act the role appropriately, that's all that matters.
Sometimes the change is better. Tilda Swinton, Irish woman, played a great Sorcerer Supreme in Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be Asian. People were pissed about it. She was fantastic.
That's a great example.
So, and they changed it in the script. She was like, oh, I'm Irish Catholic. But like, she's not supposed to be. And they made that change because of it. And it got better. I heard the buzz too.
Yeah. And Tilda Swinton is she's a chameleon actress. She can do anything.
Yep. Snowpiercer. I did not know that was her for the longest time. I
still haven't seen that.
Those prosthetic teeth, man.
So it is.
Oh,
You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen Snowpiercer yet.
I haven't watched the show.
You
I
need to watch that
refuse to.
tonight.
I know. I gotta watch the movie though.
Yeah, I'm not watching that either. It's on like CBS or some shit.
TNT, yeah.
What?
The show Snowpiercer.
Oh, that's what I haven't seen the movie. And is the show not good?
I haven't watched it, but I refuse to.
It's not going to be good.
No. See, that was the thing. I didn't want to start watching that until I had at least seen the movie first.
You can't make like a whole show out of it. It's just going to be one of those things where it's like, oh, this is a good premise. And then it's going to get to season 2 and you're going to be like, oh, okay. So we already had this conflict. Now we're going to move forward. Like, and then you're on a fucking train in the apocalypse. Like there's no,
I don't know anything
you
about
can't
it.
do a bunch of, dude, you got to watch it.
I'll let you borrow.
What's it on? It's on a streaming service. I'm pretty sure.
Rent it.
Yeah.
Buy it.
Yeah. I've heard it's on something. I think I'll
buy the movie. You buy digital movies.
It's worth it. I agree. I'll back Jesse on that. It's worth $8 or whatever you'd pay.
Did either of you guys watch Bridgerton?
No.
Do you watch?
I just know what it is.
I don't even know what it is.
Don't waste your time.
Oh, this is the show that Ashley had you watch.
She's trying to force me. I told her I said I was done.
Dude, after you said that, I went online and it just popped up.
Everyone
they say it's so good. They're like, it's the new Downton Abbey. And
Yeah,
like,
see, that's it for me. I'm done.
I don't like any of that like Jane Austen period bullshit.
You fucking let my review have it, that one, man. That
Dude.
Emma. You're like, I fucking hate Jane.
Yes.
Jane Austen is the worst.
But that's exactly what I told Ashley. I said, I don't care what this show is about. That period of time is not interesting to me whatsoever. I'm going to hate it. And she turned it on anyways, tried to force me to watch it. And it was fucking awful.
Mark
and then
Twain.
I feel like I was falling asleep. I'm like, I'm tired.
What is it a drama? Is it a?
I don't even fucking.
It's probably a romance.
Yeah.
Mark Twain said it best. If I could dig up Jane Austen, I would, and I would beat her over her head with her own shin bone.
That's what he put on my review.
True story. He said that.
He put that on my review of Emma.
Jeez,
she's awful.
That. Yeah.
Have you ever read any of her books?
No.
I had to read it for my women's literature credit.
Oh man.
Now, granted, I dodged this credit for a year because the woman who teaches women's literature at Akron is the only women's literature professor.
Yeah.
And she just so happens to be this big, fat, blonde British woman who hates men. She hates them. And she's got stains on her shirt. And she always has a picture of Jane Austen on her shirt. And there's a group of 3 or 4 ladies that follow her to all of her classes. And they're probably all a bunch of little carpet munchers. And so she don't hit the button. Don't hit the button.
The thoughts and comments of Jesse Young do not reflect the Made to Motivate podcast in any way.
This woman was awful. And she was like Satan, dude. Like I would say some shit about her outside of class and she'd like turn a corner and like hear me. And so I had 3 times I had to get out of her class. I lasted a week every time. I was like, I can't fucking do this. And finally I lucked out. Thank you, God, for Dr. Birdsall, who was a dope professor. He was just teaching European literature, but because Frankenstein was on his curriculum and Mary Shelley wrote it, it counted as my women's literature credit. And I was able to get out of going to class with that woman. She did not like me by the end. She didn't like any men, but she definitely didn't like me by the end.
Jeez.
I know what you need to use as your audio clip this week.
She was a carpet munches.
Bunch of carpet munches. She was awful, man.
That's fantastic.
Terrible. I don't remember her name.
She's like Professor Umbridge.
She was close, man.
Dude, that's my least favorite. Like, I hate her more than anything.
This
any
lady,
movie, any TV
Potter?
show. Yes.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I've seen the first 2 Harry Potter films.
That's it. You've seen
Those are the worst too.
I know.
Come on, bro.
I know. And people go, you got to watch them all. And I'm like, maybe someday I will.
Those are like the kids' whimsical ones. And then it starts getting
I
into,
didn't like them.
legit.
The first 2 are awful, man. And I saw those and I wrote it off just like you. And then Ashley forced me to watch them. And I fucking love them now. And they're so good, man. You really,
I don't mind
you have
2.
the time, you should give them the opportunity.
1 is bad. I don't think 2 is I don't think
awful.
2 is terrible.
No.
But everything else is definitely better.
1 was so boring.
4 and 5,
awful, bro.
4 and 5 are incredible.
Yeah. They get really, really good at the end.
I know what happens. Like I've been spoiled, but like I know what happens. But yeah, I wouldn't. Unlike Twilight, I wouldn't mind watching that.
Yeah.
Have you read the books?
No, I have not read anything.
Christopher.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus Kessinger.
Dude, look at my life. I don't have time to read books.
You will be done with them all in a month.
Yeah. It's good. It's not even a comparison to Twilight.
It's the greatest book series. It's the greatest book series ever written.
I know. I don't want to get inflicted with like Snagglepuss or whatever the hell.
Even if you don't want to read it, if you've already seen 1 and 2, now it's going to get good. Start at 3. You'll enjoy it.
I would
want to
have
the time.
I'd want to go back and start at the beginning just because I can barely remember them now.
Yeah, but I would hate to see you torture yourself through 1 and 2 again to the point that you then decide I'm not going to finish it.
No, I would finish it now.
2 isn't that bad. It has some of the best animatronics ever, and the CGI still stands up. Dobby looks good, and that movie was like 2000 and what, like 3?
It's not that the stories are awful. I just really struggled with the actors and how young they were. And
they weren't great. They definitely get better.
Hermione.
Daniel Radcliffe gets way better. He's awful.
What was that look?
Oh, I like Hermione, especially as you get not in 1 or 2, but much further along in the series.
I liked her in 1 and 2. I was like 10 when
She's
that came
great.
out. I've been in love with her my whole life.
I was gonna say you were young though.
She's getting perks.
You gotta think I didn't start watching these until 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So
I grew up with them. I was like, I'm the same age.
but
Hermione, I could love her. She could point me.
I couldn't get into it though. That's the thing. I wouldn't give them the chance. So
I want a girlfriend like her in Perks in a Wallflower.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I love that movie too.
That movie makes me sob. I will not watch it again. I'm always like, do I want to watch this? I'm like, I don't feel like crying.
Fuck yeah, you do. You want to watch it.
So good.
It is so good, but it's just
tearjerker. Anything else? That's the show.
That's it.
That's the show.
All right. Anybody got a song to sing? Jesse?
Carpet munchers. They're the munch for me.
That's all, folks. Like, share, subscribe. Catch you on next week's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year. This is season 4.
Biscuits and carpet munchers.